Yeah. Whoa, welcome, my dear friends. Welcome, dear friends, to another edition of Saturday Night Star Trek here on CLOBBERIN Times. Oh, my goodness. CLOBBERIN Times issue number, by the way, 197 on YouTube, but of course, 897 overall. Looks like by Thursday, the Global Geek Gang will celebrate the big 900, the big 900 there. Uh, and that's a we for sure. And I'm, as always, joined by my wonderful, beautiful first officer, the greatest first officer in all of Starfleet history, my wonderful friend, RM Raquel Briggs. Welcome, number one.
Hello, Captain. It is so great to report for duty. I love you so much. And I'm looking forward to tonight. I think tonight is going to be a blast.
Indeed, it shall. We'll do a couple little show notes before we say our hellos to everyone, because we've got a great bunch of friends in here already tonight. Great to see you all. Thank you all for being here. It is still, of course, this entire month of August, Jack Kirby month. But I'm not exactly sure what Kirby topic I will be taking upon to myself to do Monday night. I'll have that worked out in the next couple of days. It'll be Kirby, though, that I can tell you. And Wednesday night will be something. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something in the Global Geek Gang. In other words, nothing really set in stone for next week, folks. I must do better, and I will, I promise. But that's all coming up now in the not too distant future. In fact, on September the 8th, it has just been decided. Of course, you all know what day that is. Hey, this is Saturday Night Star Trek. If you're in there and you don't know what September 8th is, you are fired, and we're pushing you out of the nearest airlock. September the 8th, the anniversary of what started it all, even though, of course, in my wonderful first officer's country, it aired a couple of days early, being the Man Trap of 1966, the 6th, still the official celebration date for the original Star Trek series in 1966, September the 8th. And on that night, which will be a Wednesday night as well, I know it's obnoxious saying Wednesday, which is, of course, why I do it. Sorry,
no,
Wednesday.
I love it. I love it.
But it's still obnoxious, which is why I love doing it. And on that night, my wonderful first officer and I, this is the show, by the way, that Lord Thoth, the great Lord Thoth, hail there, by the way, has been waiting for. In fact, right now I'm dedicating it to LT.
LT.
This show, LT, is for you. Wednesday night, September 8th, number one and I will count down our top 25 all-time favorite episodes of Star Trek, the original series, in celebration of the 55th anniversary.
See, he went easy on me, folks. 25 out of 79 is so much easier for me to do. Isn't he kind? He's the best damn captain in the whole fleet.
And you know what? You're right. It's easier to do with Trek, but it's not easy to do with some things. It's horrible to. It's still a tiny number when it comes to movies or shows or a lot of other things. Sometimes it's absolute out and out brutal because there are so many wonderful things you have to leave off your list at 25.
Yeah.
But this one, yes, you got 79. So yeah, there'd be a couple here stragglers. You're going, oh, that was close to getting on my list, that sort of thing. But yes, it will be more comfortable. This is something that is more comfortable.
Yes, for sure. And I love Lord Thoth. LT is reacting in the chat. He's hysterical. He says, "Aren't they all top 10?"
Well, yeah. Well, that's
thank you, Clobby. I'm honored. He says so.
That's the surprise. I thought we're just gonna all have one episode. That we're going to count down 25 times. Anyway, there's that, folks. And again, I want to thank everyone who joined us on Thursday to celebrate, because you're never truly done celebrating the great bird of the galaxy, to celebrate the 100th, what would have been the 100th birthday of the great Gene Roddenberry, the master creator, the man without whom we would not be here, especially tonight. So, and thank you all for joining us. That was a wonderful time. I really appreciate you all hanging out with us, celebrating the great bird on that great day. So we appreciate that. Now, we're going to say a few hellos, and then we'll get started, folks, because we got 4 episodes. We're starting season 2 of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and we will get right to it. But we want to say hello to our friends first. So here we go. I saw the great J-Man in there, J-Man buddy, and shout out to J Man. This past Wednesday night, I had a magnificent time. Just a magnificent time hanging out with J Man. What a great fellow you are, sir. And man, what? It's funny how you can say what you want about the internet and this technology that is that certainly causes much consternation quite often and is in challenges. But without it, I wouldn't know such wonderful people. Of course, it's my wonderful, beautiful first officer, and so many of you, and you meet people all around the world, or meet in a sense. You have a meeting of the minds with wonderful people that you find that you have so many things in common with. It could talk all day. J Man, dude, I could talk to you for a day. Just as I could talk to number one we have talked for hours and hours, and I could never get tired of it. And I could hang out with old J Man and talk about all kinds, just geeking out, man. We geeked out so much before the show, during the show, of course, and then after we talked a good while. And he had to get up to go to work the next day, but we still talked a good while, sir. I appreciate
you powered through it even though you had to work. You are a soldier.
Well, I set the show a lot earlier than usual, at least.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we get on with that, let's see. I'll say our hellos. I'll continue with our hellos, but I just wanted to say that. Shout out the great J Man for that, man. I appreciate you. We'll do another one soon, buddy. We'll say this super chat here from a good old friend. $5 super chat from the great Just Joe 47, aka Jobber 120. Brother, I really appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
This is for suffering through the mediocre to bad first season of TNG. Season 2 has some clunkers too, but the acting and writing are a way improved. Yeah. I would have to agree with you on there, buddy.
This is true. Yep.
And
we're out of the swamp and we're standing in the ditch in the weeds. We're almost on the road, Jobber. We're almost on the road.
We're getting there, brother. And thank you so much, man. I appreciate you being here, Jobber, and what a good buddy you have been to myself. And I know Flash feels the same way, man. And he would say hi to you if he were here. So appreciate you, buddy. Also out there, the great Feliciano. By the way, Sandra and Raymond Feliciano had an anniversary.
Yes. Happy anniversary, Felicianos. You guys are such a wonderful couple. You are such great friends to this channel, to so many different streamers. You help folks, and you guys are so kind and so loving and so romantic and just so fun to be around. What a great thing to celebrate your anniversary. Congratulations.
Congrats and many more, my good friends. Thank you so much, and we appreciate Raymond is a good buddy of the show. I'll get that link up to your marvelous writings, or if any of my good buddies can do that for me, if you can find his link, please do.
Our Eric K is here. I don't know. I can't ever tell
Mark
who's
D knows
wrenching.
it. So
Yeah, I can never tell who's wrenching on this side. I can't see that through StreamYard on my version. So, but I do know my Eric is here.
Well, yes. If one of you guys could help, I appreciate that. If you could handle it, they always got us there. D-Bud Martin, buddy, always good to see you, man.
Hey, sweetheart. Mwah, mwah. Nice to see you.
Good to see you indeed. The aforementioned and the great Lord Doth, buddy.
LT.
Really appreciate LT's the man, and I appreciate LT hanging out with us the other day on Roddenberry Day there.
Wasn't he great company? And he had such great insights and wonderful comments, and just added to this amazing, geeky, nerdy conversation. I just love LT, and it was such a pleasure to be on the Global Geek Gang with him.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man. Always open invite. Dadman Walking 55, whom I got a chance to hang out with and talk to sort of in person. Well, I hung out with the guys doing a little Fortnite the other night, and over the Fortnite stream, I got a chance to actually hang out with him a little bit. An awesome fellow, great dude. So, Dadman, good to see you, buddy. And
we do love all the Dadmans.
With you.
Mrs. Dadman and the little Dadmans. So, well, maybe not so little. And anyways, we love Dadmans.
Yes. Shout out to the Dadman clan and Mrs. Dadman.
What a great name. The Dadman
The Dadman clan. There you go.
Baby, that's going to stick. That's a sticker right there. That's a sticker. Dadman clan.
Dadman is a good fellow. Stephen Thompson. Hello there. Thank you for being with us tonight, Stephen. Another wonderful friend of ours who was here with us the other night for the other day, excuse me, for the Global Geek Gang, and for her first time there, first time I hope of many. Anti-derivative Jill, we love you, Jill. Thank you for being here.
I'm so happy you're here.
Great to see you, Jill. They call him Scuba Pete.
Scuba Pete.
It is Scuba Pete. Good
I
to see you.
love you and Leslie. Say hi to everyone in the whole family from me.
Indeed, indeed. And there's that link in there. Thanks, Mark D. Brother. Appreciate you. And the aforementioned great Eric K., the Bronze Surfer. Eric, buddy, good to see you.
Mwah, mwah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your help.
Canadian Spider-Man who does whatever a Canadian spider can, buddy.
Here, Steve, you're here. Hi. It's
Always
good to see you. You've been missed.
Good to see you, my brother. Thank you for being here. Wolfie, 762. Wolfie, with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate you. We had the privilege of listening to the legendary George Takei live today in Washington, D.C. Really? Okay. Thought of all of you in this great community. Well, that's excellent. That's excellent. Well,
Wolfie.
Excellent. Absolutely, Wolfie. And thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for that super chat. It ran past me a little bit. All right, let's see. Make sure. I'm trying not to miss anyone here. We'll go quick and then we'll get started, everyone. I promise. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. Fabioki 100?
Ooh.
Fabioke. I'm not. I think we've seen you pop in before, but I would apologize to you if I'm saying it incorrectly, but it is good to see you. Thank you so much.
Good evening.
Max Redstone, my friend. Thank you for joining
Max
us, sir.
Here. Hi, Max.
Hey, Max. Indeed, thank you. Great buddy, Pat S. Pat S, buddy.
Hey,
always
Pat
a pleasure,
S.
man. Good to see you, bud.
Pat S., did you send your email to Clobby telling him about which Louisiana or am I saying Louisiana correctly? Anyway,
yes.
Louisiana.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I know there's a silly, cool accent. Well, not silly, but you know what I mean. Anyway, Pat, send your preference for the convention in your area so we can get ClobbyCon underway. A lot of people have ants in their pants to get that done, and I would love to know your input. And I am holding you to your promise of when I get down there that we get to go and look at all the used bookstores. I am so excited about that. I'm going to have a very heavy duffel bag of books on the plane ride home. So make sure you get that email out, kind sir.
Okie dokie. Beautiful lady, the wonderful, and with also a beautiful voice, of course, Arwen Avalon.
Oh,
good
Arwen.
To see you, Arwen.
Mwah, mwah. Hello, love.
Great to see you. Great to see you. Cal L, 148, my friend. Great to see you, sir.
Hey, welcome.
Great to see you. A new one here that I'm not sure we've met before, and I hope I'm saying it correctly. Enigmatic Drop Bear. Did I say that right?
Ooh, what a great name.
If I said it incorrectly, I apologize. I wrote it down quickly, and I may have wrote it wrong. I'm not singing for
Texas or a 1903 TX. I mean, says it's pronounced, and he's totally helping me here. Louisiana. Yeah, I love that. I remember that from the country songs when I was growing up. Definitely Loretta Lynn when she sings "Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man." Yeah, great. Thank you so much, 1903 TX.
I said it correctly. Thank you, Fabioki 100 and 1903 Tex. Thank you for being here. Tex or TX, as you say. Oh, I did that correct. Thank you so much, Enigmatic Drop Bear.
Yay.
I like it. Enigmatic. I like that name. We always have such creative names. The aforementioned great Mark D with a C, brother. Good to see you, man. Another beautiful lady, Janet from another planet.
Hey, Interplanet Janet. She's a galaxy girl. And yes, Scuba Pete, you can totally have some Irish pudding. As soon as we meet somewhere, our two families on that white sand beach, I am definitely either bringing or making Irish pudding.
Your Muslim uncle, my friend. Great to see you.
Good evening, fine sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Captain is Deckard, a replicant Spock. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Always
Same
appreciate
middle name this week. That's good. That's good.
Yes, that name's going to stick there if you're not careful there, Cottony. Terrell. Look at it right next to him, and that I just happened to write down there. Terrell 72, right connected to Blade Runner, a Blade Runner connection, if I'm not mistaken.
Wonderful.
Stuart Mitchell, greetings. Welcome.
Greetings.
Snail Messiah. Hello there, Snail Messiah. Hey. It's great to see you again. Thank you so much for last week. We apologize for the mess up that I didn't see that thing, that donation, and I really, really appreciate you so much. It's great to see you. Oh yeah, Kal-El. I'm sorry, 48. I'm sorry, Kal-El. I have dyslexia.
I love you, Flobby.
Oh my God, Steve Mitchum, the great.
Hey,
the great,
Maddie's
the great
daddy. The giant,
Indeed.
muscular Steve Mitchum. The man looks like he's right out of a Conan the Barbarian movie. I love Steve Mitchum. And how is Maddie? Can you please kiss her whole beautiful face for me?
You're gonna have to call him that. I'm just gonna call him Steve Mitchum if it's okay.
Giant man. I'll never forget when I first saw him on one of the live streams. I'm like, wow, girl, you're huge.
Indeed. Rod Thunderheart, my friend. Good to see you.
Rod Thunderheart. Hello.
Good to see you, buddy.
Hello, Alberta. I love you, Alberta.
Always a pleasure, Rod. Thank you for being here, sir. Another beautiful lady. So many beautiful ladies here. Beautiful first officer and beautiful ladies in the chat. Dudes, you guys need to make sure you're on your P's and Q's tonight because the beautiful Katie Carr is here.
Hey, Katie. Ballerina, super trekker. It's nice to see you, sweetheart.
Oh, thank you for the super sticker, Jill. We love you and we really appreciate you. And we thank you again for joining us the other day. It was a whole lot of fun having you here. And we appreciate your input and everything. And we appreciate your input on Saturday Night Star Trek as well. And speaking of which, I think we're caught up on the hellos there. Anyone else who pops in, we'll get shout out to them as soon as we can. In the meantime, we will start with our reviews because we have 4 episodes to review tonight. And of course, number 1, I guess if you want to get started on that, I will go get pictures and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, great. So yeah, let's stay copyright compliant. Okay, so tonight we're going to be reading excerpts from Star Trek 365: The Next Generation by Paula M. Block and Terry J. Erdman. This book, of course, as you can see, if you are joining us in the live chat, has been blessed by the great Ronald D. Moore. And we use this text because Paula M. Block is known for the veracity of what she publishes. So much of what she says are things that have not been revealed before, and they're verified. A lot of things that you're reading online with these user-generated sites, a lot of it is factoid. It's fan lore. It's not really true. It's just factoids that have been told over and over and over again until people believe that they're true. And a lot of times they're not. So we use this as a launching off point. It's a highly visual book. I definitely recommend them. Sometimes the writing isn't the best, but it's a highly visual book, and we chose it not only due to this veracity, the veracity of what this woman says, but also the fact that it's very tight writing, great summaries. So once I've read the summary from the episode, I throw it over to my captain, and my captain applies his nearly 5 decades worth of Trekkiedom to what we're covering in that particular episode. I reveal some of my notes that I take when I rewatch the episodes because I watch all of the episodes each and every single year, all 735, and then we throw it over to the chat. And the chat can add things that they've heard. They can ask questions. They can speak their piece about the episode. And then we actually ask everyone to give the show a rating. And Clobby will give you the green light on that. And then you can rate the episode, and then we'll show it up on the marquee and we'll read it off. So kind of like a shout out and the ability for you to speak your piece about each and every episode. So tonight,
okay. One thing, we forgot something.
What?
Well, we're going to do this really quickly because I think we should.
Okay.
R.I.P. Eddie Paskey.
Oh yes. Isn't that terrible?
Yes. For those who do not know, I'm going to show a picture real quick. So I'm sorry to sneak this in the last second there, but I totally forgot about it. He passed to no fanfare at all, really.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because it was he's just not that not a super famous actor or anything like that. So he did a lot for Star Trek. He was, of course, a big part of Star Trek.
Yeah.
And on the original series, and so we just want to we'll give him a bit of a tribute here. You guys put EP in the chat if you want, because I mean he was he was there.
Yeah.
So let's see
Poor
here.
guy.
Yeah. Now again, he lived a good while, had a good life from what I understand.
Very sad.
So, but still, we lost another piece of Star Trek. Yesterday.
He aged well too, didn't he? Look at his handsome, sweet face. What a cutie patootie. And yeah, he will be greatly missed. And to his family, here at Clobberin Treks, we just want to express our sincere condolences on behalf of the channel, the show, and certainly on behalf of the entire community, the entire chat. We thank you, and we thank him for his body of work and for adding to science fiction and delighting us and entertaining us.
Absolutely. R.I.P. Eddie Paskey, another vital piece of the original Star Trek and Warp Speed, sir.
Yeah.
So we want to do that really quickly. Everyone started to derail everything there, but I'd forgotten
No.
started.
I forgot about it too.
Yeah. So there you go. EP, everyone. Yes, he will live long and prosper in our hearts forever for being part of something that we love like that. So,
well, to completely brighten up the entire room after our heartfelt goodbyes, I would like to announce that one of the best bears out of all of the bears just walked through the room. So, Snort of Poopus!
Well, I've always. Oh, sorry, I messed you up. Stepped on you there. Huber, Snort, good to see you, buddy. By the way, I've also been informed that there are 3 Steves here.
These are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know.
There you go. Now we will continue with our regularly scheduled program, which was sort of already in progress, everybody.
Okay, so if you bought the block text, and I know many of you have, you should know we're not following the production order. So these books are pretty professional. It's also another reason why I chose them, not just veracity, but in their professionalism, in the way that they unfold the entire IP. And so it goes in production order. If for this particular iteration of Star Trek, which is TNG, we are actually watching in broadcast order. So if you would please turn to tile or page. I say tile because this is like a brick. This book is like a brick. We are on 72. Turn to page 72. We're going to start with The Child, Season 2, Episode 1, Prod Code 127. Original air date is November 21st, 1988. And I'm going to be reading extemporaneously. So if you throw fruit, I will throw it back. Here we go. Without further ado, let's do it. Last night while I slept, something which I can only describe as a presence entered my body. Troy. The Enterprise's mission to transport samples of a deadly plague to a science station is disrupted by the revelation that Counselor Troy is pregnant. The details are sketchy. She has been impregnated by a non-corporeal alien entity whose intentions, Troy believes, are not malevolent. The life she carries within her matures at a phenomenal rate. She gives birth in just 36 hours, and the child, whom she names Ian, grows from an infant to an 8-year-old child within a day. However, beyond that, he appears to be a normal humanoid boy. But an unknown source of radiation aboard the Enterprise is causing the plague samples to grow so rapidly that they'll soon pose a health threat to the entire crew, and Ian might be the cause. The first episode of Season 2 was overflowing with changes, both on and off camera. Among them, the arrival of the new Chief Medical Officer, Diana Muldaur, as Dr. Catherine Pulaski. An expansive new set, 10 forward, hosted by a new reoccurring character, Whoopi Goldberg, as Guinan, and modifications to various crew members' hair and wardrobe. Troy was assigned a more figure-flattering jumpsuit. Riker adopted a dashing beard. Wesley Crusher got an official uniform to go with his status as an acting ensign. He also got a comm badge and a Delta. And newly appointed Chief Engineer Geordie LaForge and Chief of Security Worf were switched from red to gold uniforms, as befit their permanent positions in the ship's operations division. Worf also received a new baldric. Yes, we had to say goodbye to the old baldric, which is from TOS. And to tell you the truth, I don't really celebrate that, guys and gals. The new baldric, it's nice and stuff, but boo! But anyway, the old one, a holdover from the wardrobe of Star Trek's original Klingons, was showing signs of wear and tear. Dorinda Rice Wood, TNG's new costume designer, made him a new one from bicycle chains and strips of leather. One significant element wasn't new: the script for the child. Yes, this is true. It is a reworked version of a 10-year-old draft by Jaron Summers and John Poville for the unproduced television series Star Trek Phase 2. That is correct. The recycling effort was triggered by the ongoing Writers Guild of America strike against the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, which dragged on for a record 155 days. Having a fundamentally sound script in hand, the producers to get a jump start on the episode's pre-production phase as the strike dragged into its final days. When it officially ended on August 7th, 1988, co-executive producer Maurice Hurley dived into a rewrite to make the story more relevant to TNG, and the episode moved into production. Turn the page. We have another tile. Of all the gin joints in the galaxy, she walked into theirs. "I need one hell of a bartender or hostess for this new lounge," Gene Roddenberry explained in a 1988 interview. "And we were thinking that we'd get the most beautiful girl in all of creation to play this part. And thank God, Whoopi Goldberg called up and said, 'I'm a Star Trek fan, and I was a Star Trek fan before I became Whoopi Goldberg. And if there's some part I can play in your show, ... She was. At the time, they always say that they're big fans of the show. Anyhow, I digress. She was at the time a Golden Globe award winner, The Color Purple, who had already been nominated for both an Oscar and an Emmy, a renowned comedian whose one-woman show ran for 156 sold-out performances on Broadway. Is it any wonder that the producers of Star Trek: The Next Generation had trouble taking the phone calls seriously? Goldberg, however, was serious. "This is one of the few shows that took place in the future that I saw as a kid," she explains. "I saw Lieutenant Uhura was there, and Asian people, all kinds of folks. That gave me a lot of hope. It's very important that the future be hopeful, and that's what Star Trek is." Goldberg's timing was excellent. The show only needed a bartender for a few episodes a year, which suited Goldberg's busy schedule. It wasn't like adding a new cast member. It was like having a great guest star in the wings for special appearances. Diana Muldaur also came to the show in a limited capacity, with each appearance listed in a guest credit rather than in the opening title credits. Reportedly, the actress's choice, it may have been a premonition about what would prove to be a brief tenure. Gates McFadden's absence came as a surprise to viewers. The general word was that McFadden was dissatisfied with her character development and had left to pursue other creative endeavors. But the truth revealed by Rick Berman in 2006 with the Archive of American Television was that she'd been fired. After the first season, Gene Roddenberry decided to take a step back and leave everything to me and Maurice Hurley, Berman recalls. Well, that's not entirely true. That's spinning it very nicely. It was Hurley who campaigned to replace McFadden, and I, admits Berman, let it slide. Pulaski was a cut from a different mold than Crusher. Crusty is the adjective most used to describe her. The writers gave her several of Dr. McCoy's personality quirks. She hated transporters, believed in speaking her mind, and loved to pick on the unemotional science officer. But what had endeared McCoy to the audience worked against Pulaski, and her gruff character never seemed to gel with the rest of the cast. The fans wrote letters. They didn't like that Gates had been let go for whatever reason, Berman says. When Hurley left the show at the end of the season, Berman reevaluated his friend's decision. His friend's decision? What an odd way to say that. I decided it would be healthier for everyone involved to bring Gates back. And then there is another tile on presenting 10 forward, but it is quite lengthy, so I'm going to skip it. I'm going to throw it over to you, Clobby. What did you think of the coverage of the child in the block text, and what did you think of the episode?
Well, first I will say to Eric K, thank you, my friend, for that super chat. I appreciate that for $5. But I don't appreciate you telling people secrets about my secret crush on Wesley, man. Good God. I thought we said that in confidence, buddy. Wow. I mean, just, but is it true, or is this true? Newsflash. SSN Volks, SSA Clobberin Time special report. It has just been released to the press that Wesley sucks. This is the second season, and Wesley still sucks. Thank you. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program. Oh, my goodness. Way to run me under the bus there, Eric.
I love it.
Jeez.
I love it.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that, brother. This episode, wow. Somehow I get the feeling it might not have been all that really great, even if they had made Phase 2 and used this episode. I mean, not that we hadn't seen way worse or anything like that, but yeah. I thought it was kind of a snoozer. And again, I guess from what you're telling me from the coverage, this was, since we're doing it in air date order, this was not produced first.
No, I think it's slightly out of order because it's 127, right?
Well, okay, I got you. But it was intended to be first because it was the first Pulaski. Although they announced, the opening of the episode's really kind of weird on that. Like her first appearance, they don't even say it in the captain's log. They don't tell you anything about Beverly leaving till after the show gets started a little bit. It's kind of like not making a big deal out of it, which was kind of weird. Like you're just already supposed to know it or something. I thought everything about the script and everything was kind of clunky, personally.
Well, Hurley wrote it. That's why it sucks.
Well, yeah.
Like the original script was actually, according to all eyes that have cited it, all eyes that have seen it. It's supposed to be an excellent script, but Hurley is quite a character, isn't he? And he wrote this. If you call this writing.
Well, yeah, and he really probably only just took some of the basic skeletal plot from the script or whatever. So it might have been better. I'm sure it would have been better than this. Obviously, because it would have been the original crew and all that other kind of good stuff. I don't know. But again, I know a friend. I don't think I ever read it, but I think a friend of mine has a bunch of those unshot scripts from Phase 2, and he may have it. But anyway, I thought the whole Pulaski thing. Obviously, they had to have a doctor on the ship, so they bring in kind of a McCoy type. You know what? I didn't, I guess because we have so much with Wesley and crap going on, Pulaski never bothered me much. I prefer Dr. Crusher.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we got her back later. But it's just I don't know, I thought it was kind of funny the way they were making her a blatant McCoy ripoff.
Yeah, I was extremely angry about that. I was not pleased at all.
I don't know, I guess I just kind of like seeing her mess with Data a little bit because, it's just that that's one of the things I think they added. Nobody really kind of messed with each other that much in the first season. There was nothing, even the smallest sort of antagonistic relationship. Whereas, of course, the Spock McCoy relationship was one of the things that was kind of spicy about the original series that I kind of liked. So yeah. I can understand wanting to do something like that. It's just, again, it comes off like a lot of things they do is sort of like a blatant ripoff.
Yeah.
And it's just transparent.
Yeah, very, very, very true. I see. I didn't see her come in the room, but I see people who are adding her. So something must be going on with StreamYard tonight. But I believe our friend Apollonie's Minion and her
Yes.
cute little pupperoni have walked in the door, and
Oh,
I
okay.
just wanted to say hello to that wonderful lady and her wonderful little pupper.
Hey there, Paula May. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Um, but overall, the episode is just kind of a snoozer more than anything else. We've been through way worse. But look, again, I guess the biggest disappointment is the wrong Crusher left.
Yeah, I mean, there is a point where where Wesley gets into that, and he talks about how tough it is, and I just thought, you know what, it would have been great if he just would have left with her, but
yeah, at least that. If we have to lose Beverly, then why can't we lose Wesley?
yeah,
Like,
if Hurley's going to fire somebody,
Yeah.
let it be
Yes.
let it be the self-insert that the producers are milking like the golden cow. Just let it happen.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
This episode just starts. Again, I'm not saying the episode is just sort of like I don't know why you're starting the season off with this anyway.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of, we had one last week where I was jokingly saying stuff like, I don't remember what happened. It was so boring, and I'm just so blah blah. Blah. This is one of those. It's like, okay, I'm watching. What am I watching? This happened, by the way, when it first aired. I mean, back in 80 whatever it was, when 88 or whatever, when it first aired. I was the same way then. I'm like, what happened? I can't even work up a lot of hatred for it. It was just kind of dull for me.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, there's nothing exciting about it. I mean, there's nothing interesting, nothing compelling about the story. It's just a bunch of people walking around doing and saying things, not even doing things. I take it back. Not doing things because they did nothing. They just sat around one of their talky episodes, but not in a good way. You can do a good talk episode. Yeah. Not with this show usually early on, but I've seen shows that are just about characters talking on some shows like, I don't know, like Babylon 5 or something like that were great. This one is like, come on, do something. Can something happen, please? Now, maybe. And it's not interesting. Nothing about this episode resonates with me personally.
Yeah, I mean, Hurley is definitely not a good writer, and he sucks. And after sort of organizing the writers' room against Gene Roddenberry, and who was already in failing health, and basically saying, we all want you to leave the show and go on this little vacation and consider leaving the show. Hurley was not. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Hurley, and I actually have a bit of hope for Infection. I thought Infection was a great idea, but I see it happening in my mind. I see it more like Space 1999, because it's a throwback type of story, and I love it. But I just think Hurley crapped the bed in making it, right? And in writing it. So yeah, he sucks.
Sometimes there's an old sports saying in football: when you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. In other words, sometimes when you have two stories, you have no story. Because
what a great turn of a phrase, Globby.
Well, because if you see I'm not saying you can't have multiple plot threads or anything like that. You can do it, but sometimes you have, in this case, 42 minutes or whatever.
Yep.
And this show has been duplicitous on many occasions. I used to think this back then. We used to talk about this all the time. And they would open up with your setup, then they would talk about it for 20-something minutes, and they would try to slam everything relevant to whatever they're trying to do with their so-called, discombobulated story or multiple stories in the last 10 minutes, and it makes for bad pacing. I think I can't even work up a lot of emotion about this, and this is about as riled up as I can get about this episode because it's so blah. But yes, I think sometimes you can try to pack too much into one episode, or let's say the story about the thing with the disease that they were transporting or whatever.
Yeah.
They figured we don't have enough here. Let's combine. Let's take something from phase 2 and let's take that and let's smash them together, and we can fill up 42 minutes, and that will give us an excuse to talk about to introduce our new doctor, to introduce Guinan,
Yeah.
to have Wesley's little indecision about what he wants to do, and there you go. You got an excuse episode, an excuse just to fill up time, and yes, maybe set up things for down the road or whatever, but you're not putting together a coherent or particularly compelling episode.
Yeah, and the thing is I think that Maurice Hurley would have us blame the writers' strike and so on and so forth. But the facts of the matter remain that Jaron Summers and John Poville wrote something that other people are saying is pretty good, and it is from phase 2. And then Hurley, who basically organized people to oust Gene Roddenberry from the writers' room, because it was too hard to write the way that he writes, and this is the result. So Hurley ousted my hero, and then tried to blame a writer's strike for his crap writing. He's just this is a big pile of shit, and I put it squarely on the shoulders, and perhaps the face, if we're talking about shit. Well, we'll put that squarely in the face of Hurley for ousting my hero.
Absolutely. Another point before you get to your notes is that what little grain or nugget of a story is there is we're cheated out of, because we never find out anything about this life form. No. Interesting idea. It's passing through. It impregnates a woman, but in fairness, it doesn't understand that it's doing something invasive, and it doesn't hurt her, but it gives her, other than giving her something and taking it away. All that stuff might be compelling on the if you focus the whole episode on it and you do it well. But they not only do they not do it well, there's no payoff by us learning anything about this life form, which is supposed to be, Star Trek is supposed to do that. We're supposed to learn about these life forms.
So
it drops
true.
the ball.
I mean, it would have been wonderful, wouldn't it, if we would have had the child stand before Deanna and others in the room to explain that this is the way that they explore the galaxy, that to thank her for sharing her body and her mind and all of her experiences, for her kindness, to understand what it's like to be a child, and so on and so forth. If that would have transpired, that would have been that payoff that I think would have made the whole thing worth it. But Hurley sucks, and sending my hero away on vacation so that he comes back and the writer's room has decided they don't want him there anymore. Well, you didn't really write or produce anything good after that, did you, Hurley?
Yeah, go back to Miami Vice, dude. You're better off there. You don't belong in Star Trek.
Bye.
So, bye. By the way, thank you, Rod Thunderheart, for the $5 super sticker. My good friend, thank you so much. And I didn't really get to see everything going on in the chat there, but whatever everyone was, I didn't get to see it all. But whatever problems you may be having, sir, I wish you good luck with that. We're always thrilled to see you.
Yeah, I just want to send a shout out because Rod Thunderheart is from my area of Canada. He is from Alberta. So I just want to shout out to his brother who normally watches this show. I caught some of the comments, and it appears that Rod's brother is in hospital.
Oh, my.
So I would like to extend our love and support from this whole community, from Clobby, from me, from everyone here. And just, be well. Brother of the Thunderheart, and we're sending love to Alberta for you.
Absolutely. From Clobberin Times, Rod's brother, be well and live long and prosper, sir.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe you have notes.
I do, and some of them overlap with the block text, so I'll just try and read them as quickly as possible.
Sure, no hurry.
This story is from Phase 2, originally titled Infection. Ilea is impregnated via a nebula. The child is a girl named Urzka. Urzka saves the ship from several threats until it is revealed that Urzka's power is dissolving the Enterprise's hull. Zahn, Spock's replacement Vulcanian, played by David Gautreaux, mind melds with Urska, learning she must be transported into a light that has been following the ship. So that was the original idea. And then the nincompoop Maurice Hurley got his dirty little mitts on it and smeared poop on it. The production team ignored Whoopi's agents, thinking that the Oscar and Emmy award winner was just kidding around with requests to be on the show. So Whoopi called Jean Roddenberry herself. Whoopi confessed to being a Trekkie, which is not unusual. Most of these people do, who wanted to be on the show because of Nichelle Nichols and the show's standout racial diversity. It is Hurley who did not like Gates McFadden personally, and so he fired her. Mulder replaced her and garishly mimics Bones. The hate mail rolled in with an exclamation point. Worf's TOS Baldric is retired. Rest in peace, Baldric. I will miss you. Boo! And then I've got Geordi is promoted. Geordi and Worf appear in Operations Gold. Riker Beard. Riker Chairmount.
Riker Beard.
Yeah, and Pulaski insults fans with data. Data. And Pulaski doesn't want security. What a nincompoop. That's one thing that I hate is when Pulaski sort of says to Worf, well, doesn't sort of say, she does say, but not verbatim. I'm paraphrasing here. What are you doing here, Mr. Worf? We don't need any security. A baby's being born. When meanwhile, just 36 hours ago, you know what I mean? It's very bizarre that she says that. And she acts indignant about it, you know, like, we don't need any security. And yeah, it's annoying. Troy has raging spurpies. Just look at her lip. The Decker unit is saddened by the Immaculate Conception. I thought that would make you laugh, Clobby. I'm not for calling this rape. I know many young fans do. Nothing sexual is implied, nor is intercourse implied. This is an occupation like Sargon, Thalassa, or Thalassa is how they pronounce it in English, and Henoch in Return to Tomorrow, which is, of course, season 2, episode 20 of TOS. Remember, Deanna inhabits the thoughts of others. She enters their minds. Is this not also rape? Sometimes people are way too melodramatic. And that's all I have in my notes.
Yes. Well, I want to say hello to Cavantino, Cavalryman, Che, sorry. I always get that wrong. Cavantino, I'm sorry about that. My tongue twister. The great, the Catman, Dee Myers. Catman, good to see you.
Meow.
All right, she's AKA, that is. Dee Myers, good to see you there, Mr. Myers. Let's see here. Let's see. He said, have we known about our buddy Bruce Lombardo found out that during Fat Stevens' stream that he has the virus. Oh my goodness. Well, Bruce, I don't know if you're out there right now, but he does pop in sometimes. Please, sir, get well soon. A big clobbering time shout out to you, our good buddy Bruce. He is a good dude, and we like Bruce. And he pops in sometimes. Bruce Lombardo, best to you, my friend, on a speedy recovery.
Yeah,
and
be well.
Absolutely, be well, my friend. Your Muslim uncle for $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. I really appreciate that. By next week, I will be able to interact about the episodes. But even if I haven't interacted in that way, I love hearing you narrate and talk about it. Well, we love having you here. Yes, thank you so much. And we love having you here, sir. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. So, everyone, I think, Rod Thunderheart, thank you again for that, buddy. I appreciate it for the $2 super chat. Rod Thunderheart, again, I hope your brother is if he's not listening, tell him that for us, that we all wish him the best, wish him well, and again, also best to our buddy Bruce Lombardo there. So number one, I will ask you for your rating of The Child. I'll give mine, and then I will ask our wonderful chat for their ratings and any comments they might have. So, what is your rating of The Child?
It's a C- for me, boss.
Gotcha. Mine is a D, if as in dull.
That's very close.
I've seen way worse. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I just thought, you shouldn't start the season out like that. You're gonna have a clunker somewhere. Don't really. I don't know. Do something a little bit. Do something to celebrate your opener of the season. Kind of get out of the gate with a bang, not a stumble.
Yeah.
So, anyway, all right, chat. Let's have it. Let's see what your rating of The Child is, and say anything that you would like to say about the episode. Our first one out is The Great Lord Thoth. Let's see here. Lord Thoth, D-. This was an awful story with a silly premise and a huge filler episode. Hated Pulaski until the last second of the last episode of season 2. Then she was gone.
Agreed, LT. Agreed. Excellent comments.
And they call him Scuba Pete. Scuba Pete is a C-.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the great Scuba Pete. It's bad. Like that diaper. It's always diapers with you. Or who is usually the diapers? I don't know.
I think it's all of us. I think it all started with the poop Zambu.
Like that diaper when your kid switches to solid food bad. My favorite part, though, is Riker's face when Troy makes the announcement. Yeah, he's like, "Hey, man, what the hell?" Well, you left her, dude, so screw you.
Yeah, so good. I love you, Scuba Pete.
Pat S. D+. This episode was just weird. The new doctor's mini dress and pants uniform. That creepy kid who was so off-putting. He makes Wesley look like Jake Sisko. Right? And the mustached Hal Holbrook knockoff. Yeah, I've seen that guy. I've seen that guy in other stuff. But now that you mention it, Pat S., he does look. I guess he is sort of a Hal Holbrook. Look, I can't remember the guy's name. I actually have seen him and stuff before.
Seymour Cassell. He plays Hester Delt.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him, and obviously he's one of those actors you see around. 1 of 3 for the great Scuba. C-. A typical day in the life of the Enterprise. Another mission to stop another deadly plague. Oh, and by the way, some entity stopped by to impregnate Troy. You're right. It's just a business as usual on the Enterprise. D for dull. Enterprise duh. That's a friend of mine used to call it the Enterprise duh. Snort of Boobies number 2. Let's see. Dr. Pulaski and Guinan joined the crew. I'm a strange bear. I didn't mind Pulaski as much as a lot of fans did. I really did neither sometimes. Just that I thought, you can make her, crusty a little bit. You can make her, if you want to put a few McCoy traits in there a little, I don't mind that actually, but don't be so blatant, honestly, about to the point where you're like, oh God, what are you, seriously? Come on. I just thought they were a little bit overboard with it, Snort, but but it's not Diana Muldaur's fault. It's a dumb writing. Let's see. And I find Guinan far more likable than the actress playing her. There, I said it. Well, look, I have problems with the actress, but I actually do like the character of Guinan myself, even sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, but art separate the art from the artist, as we try to do. 3-3. Wesley is thinking about leaving to join his mother, but they make the mistake of giving him something to wear other than that dumb-looking rainbow sweater, and he chooses to stay aboard. Damn it! Yeah, it could have been the greatest episode of all time if he just left and they said, "Yeah, I'm leaving, Captain." Oh well, don't let the transporter room hit you in the ass on the way out.
Yeah.
Let's see here, Janet from another planet. The only thing I can say is this episode was very blah, but the baby was so cute. So I will give it a C for a cute baby. Well, that's fair enough there, Janet. Let's see. Max Redstone. Oh wow, just dawned on me that baby now would not be much older than one of my kids, around the age of my kids. Wow. Yeah. Max Redstone, sir, C-. For the general C- for the general upgrade. Yes. Yeah, there was some stuff like that. I hear you. The best part was Wesley seeing Troy pregnant and having that "I thought you were on the pill" look on his face. Stupid Wesley. There's a rumor out there. That's a good. Max, there's a rumor out there that Wesley sucks. By the way, I don't know if you've seen it, if you're familiar with it.
Max, this is such a good comment.
Yeah. I don't know if you've heard about that, but yeah, that's a. Oh, sorry, wrong banner. Sorry.
So funny.
Oops. Let's see here. let's where we're at. Oh, okay, no, okay. What's the next one here? D from the great Laban Feliciano for Dahl, Cy, Pulaski, Ugg, Guinan, and Gur Wesley. Nothing to see here now. You're not a Guinan fan? Not a Guinan fan, Raymond? Oh well. Let's see here. D for the great Eric K. So she was raped by a alien. She would have burst in two. The growth of the unborn child.
Yeah.
She would have burst in two. The birth of the child. Yeah. Well, yeah. But the kid would have been eating a 24/7 for that much growth. Enterprise cannot detect radiation. No, not when it's convenient not to.
Yeah.
P&W sucks. Now here's another thing about that. Naturally, because they don't really handle their own subject matter well. They don't show you the scenes where his growth spurts. Like 1 second he's a baby. What is he just like? Whoop, boom, transform into a toddler. Boom. Then transform into an older kid. They don't show that. It would
be very violent because they did say that it took a humanoid form. So it would be more like American Werewolf in London than oh look, he's now an adolescent. It would have been like that.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And this is not the first time this trope has been used before. Because before even though that was a story for phase 2. There was Avengers number 200, folks. If you want to see the weirdest, most comic that you will not believe got printed in 1980 that could not be made today, go read Avengers number 200 from 1980.
Sounds bad.
It's woman impregnated, child grows up quickly is not the half of it. As soon as how she's impregnated, you will not believe was in a comic book, in a Marvel comic in 1980. That's all I'm going to say. Look it up, folks.
Yeah, I know a lot of young people are very off-put by that particular aspect of this. But, when you're talking about science fiction and you're talking about immaculate conception and you're talking about a little dot of light, I'm not sure where that RAPE word comes in. Because,
no, it's silly.
It's the same as saying that Sargon would have done the same thing. We're talking about a dot of light. She wasn't aroused. Nothing sexual occurred. So I don't know. I think that's sort of overplaying your cards a little bit. But yeah. Because somebody in science fiction should be prepared to have their body occupied in any and all ways. And, sometimes that means something bursting out of your chest. That's just the nature of science fiction, right? As we reach out and other beings may abuse our bodies or use our bodies in ways we don't want. And certainly I would not use that word here. I think that's overplaying the hand substantially.
Well, yeah, in fairness, unlike the people who overreact like that, the actual characters, when they realized what had happened to Troy, took it in a very mature 24th century kind of way. They didn't freak out. They're like, well, we're out here in space. It's not that outrageous. I mean, it's not, in other words, it fits into our kind of life that we lead here. We are an exploration vessel, after all. The Catman, D. Myers, D+. Gotcha. Our new friend, enigmatic, I can't talk tonight. Enigmatic Drop Bear. 1 of 5. D+. Story 3 out of 10. Relationship between Ian's radiation and virus escape was a silly contrivance. Handling a pro-choice, pro-life debate was unsuitable and clumsy, and they do it again in another episode soon. They're going, what are you people obsessed with this for? But I hear you there. Character development 4 out of 5. Geordi, chief engineer, intro of Guinan, Worf and Yellow, Riker's beard and jealousy, Troy's mother, data, pronunciation data, and childbirth. Lieutenant O'Brien is transporter chief. Yes, that is true.
Yes, enigmatic drop bear. That's why I call it the Decker unit is sad due to immaculate conception. But that joke failed in this room quite bad.
No.
Almost as bad as Joe Piscopo. Only kidding.
Oh, yeah. We forgot all about that. That's another episode of that. 3 out of 5, cool stuff. 2 out of 5, plasma virus containment system view from 10 forward. Let's see here. And let's see. World building 3 out of 5. Follow me, lad in space. USS Repulse. Is that Rochelle? Rachel's?
Yeah.
Rachel's? Okay.
Yeah.
And Obi Systems. Icer Radiation, Morgana Quadrant, Federation Science Research Stations. And bop, bop, bop. Wesley Factor 1 equals total score 11 out of 25. Enigmatic Drop Bear, I am so happy you joined us, but that's way too math for me. That's too much math for me. That's for my academic first officer here to understand the math.
That was wonderful. I love that.
And you pass that on them. Yeah, I have my chat way back up there. Okay, Rod, thank you, man. LT has to run. Hey, Lord Thoth, just later, let us know what your reviews are later if you could. It is great to see you, brother.
Do. And please tell Mrs. LT that we said hello.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Number one, we have our good buddy Anti-Derivative Jill. Are you ready?
Yes. What has our friend come up with today? All of her reviews are always good. Okay, Anti-Derivative Jill, she's done 1 of 5, and she gives the episode a C-. She says, an alien might not know better than to sexually assault Troy, but the rest of the crew does, and they don't seem to be too concerned about it, except what danger the child may pose. Creepy! 2 of 5. They could have fixed this with a scene with Troy and Guinan and cutting out the Wesley plot. This would have actually given weight to her intro as integral to the plot and assurance of Troy's well-being.
Yes, because we're actually, I've forgotten, there were actually 3 quote-unquote plots in here.
Yeah, there were 3 plops in the diaper. 3 plops. Just like Scuba Pete said. 3 of 5. Good things happen nonetheless. Riker has a beard. Geordi is chief engineer. Worf looks more handsome. And Guinan. The ship's counselor is here, except she convinces Wes to stay. And then she has a little sad face. 4 of 5. Pulaski seems like a competent doctor in her introduction, but they shouldn't have made her such a jerk to Data. Because it's not the same dynamic as what's going on between McCoy and Spock, because both of them not only deeply love one another and have this intense affection for one another, but they are aware that it is banter. And then Jill says, who basically has a childlike nature. Yes, I completely agree. So I'm going to interrupt your quote here again and say, yes, this is the way the fans viewed it in 1988. I most certainly viewed it that way in 1988. Data is Pinocchio. He's this wonderful little child. He's somebody from The Wizard of Oz. If he only had a brain, if he only had a heart, if he were only a real boy. And so he's endeared to the audience in this way. Whereas Dr. McCoy and Spock were 2 highly intellectual, highly educated men, sharing banter because it was joyful and hysterical. And she says, it looks bad. Oh, hi, Chief O'Brien. Oh, does that mean Jill has a crush on O'Brien?
What about it, Jill?
Yeah, Jill. Come on, Jill. Has 5 out of 5. The vaccine subplot is fine and gives our A plot an easy way to end so that we don't have a creepy, invasive alien hanging around, growing old, and dying over the course of the next 3 episodes. Yeah.
Well said, Jill, as always. Fabiogi 100, C-, badly written story. I would concur.
Hurley.
Which one? All of them in there, right? So let's see here. Wolfie 7-62 says C-. At first, you think this is going to be Rosemary's Space Baby.
I love you, Wolfie.
There you go. But Dr. Ann Mulhall ends up being the most troublesome character in the episode. Reference to Return to Tomorrow. Why does she hate Data so much? They were just stretching. I'm not here. It's really kind of so. Yeah, it was just not good.
Yeah.
Yay for showing shuttlecraft launch operations. Cool. I can't wait to suck a few piles of diapers out into space in the shuttle bay.
Open the shuttle bay doors. Just do it.
Sandra Feliciano, C. Pulaski sucks almost as much as Wesley.
Yes,
the
baby.
story is dumb.
Yes, baby.
Best thing, it never would have made it today because Karen's would have triggered, would have been triggered by keeping the baby, no consent. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
That is so true. That's true.
Yeah.
So true, Sandra. Rod Thunderheart, C minus. I was just getting into TNG, and this episode put me off. Oh, I got you. Steve Muncham, C, more or less. For being better than the first season, and Sirius did a pretty good acting job. On the other hand, I never cared for Pulaski or Guinan. Okay.
And look at the new picture of Maddie. That's at bath time. That is such a beautiful picture. I love her beautiful smile. You're making her laugh in that picture. I love that picture. But let's be honest. Maddie never takes a bad picture. She's gorgeous.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Kalel, 48. C minus. I never cared for Pulaski, especially when she dismissed Worf and disrespected Data. It's pronounced Data. Interesting premise, but no info on the alien. Really, yeah, exactly. They don't tell you anything other than, you know what? I just thought I'd stop by and say hi to you guys and impregnate a woman and be a kid for a while and then leave. And yeah, it's great. You guys can sort it out for yourselves because you guys are really boring, to be honest. I'm gonna go find me another TV show. Goodbye. You guys
it's
suck.
So true. It's so true. Hurley is such an epic fail. Epic fail. Failure.
Indeed, he is. The Greeks, Mark. Do you want to see?
I love you, Mark.
C minus. 2 out of 5 poopy diapers. Oh, poopy diapers. I've never said poopy diapers more in my life until I started reading the comments of these things. Although Ian didn't get to wear them long enough, so he grew up so fast. Interesting idea, Jesus conception, but couldn't an alien that advanced find a less intrusive way to communicate? Yeah, well, one would think. Yeah. The vid subplot was so ridiculous. Canadian. Yeah, there you go. In that Ian was the convenient cause of the crisis. Guinan convinces Wesley to stay. No.
Okay, so
damn it,
Mark's 2 comments here are absolute perfection. If we could go back to his first comment there that he made in this series. Yeah, 2 out of 5 poopy diapers. Yes, and he says interesting idea, Jesus conception. Yeah, immaculate conception. That is right. The mechanism behind this. I wholeheartedly agree, Mark D, with the C, which isn't unusual because you and I are pretty good friends. And then in your second comment, you said another really super cool thing. What was the second thing you said here? Yes. The vid subplot. You are so Canadian. I love that you call it the vid like a Canadian. I love you, Mark D with the C. What great comments tonight.
Yes, Avengers 200, and it's who impregnated Carol Danvers. It is one of the weirdest things you're ever going to read in any comic. I do not know how Jim Shooter, of all people, let that thing slide into 1980. It's really...
Sounds weird. Bad.
Well, the baby grip was... I can't say it.
Just don't do it. Don't do it.
No. It was a comic book from 1980. You think I'd be able to say it? I can say it. It's just that it was her son. Weird time travel, timey-wimey stuff. Okay, I said it. There you go. So everyone probably was wondering. Stupid comic. I mean, by a good writer. Immortus, but also her son, dude. In a sense. But yeah, anyway.
Barf.
Yeah, it was weird stuff. Timey-wimey. All right, so let's see. I guess we're ready to move on to our next exciting episode.
Yes, where silence has lease. Obviously,
with an option to buy.
Yes. Season 2, Episode 2, Prod Code 128. First aired on November 28th, 1988. And if you are reading along, We are on tile 75. And of course, I am reading excerpts from Star Trek 365, The Next Generation by Paula M. Block and Terry J. Erdman. That's her husband. He helps her, but she's the main author. And of course, it has been christened by the great Ronald D. Moore. Highly recommend buying this book. So let's get at it. Tile 75. Nagilum. An alien life form traps the Enterprise and its crew within a strange, featureless void. The creature claims to be curious about human life, particularly the species' mortality, and announces plans to kill as many as half of the crew to see the different ways humans can die. In response, Picard sets the Enterprise on automatic self-destruct. Better to kill everyone at once, he reasons, than allow Nagilum to use his shipmates as lab rats. What the heck is a Nagilum? Perhaps a more pertinent question is, what's behind that ultra weird face of his? The simple answer is Earl Bowen, or Bowen. I think that's Norwegian, so it would be Bowen, like Moen. The actor credited as Nagilum. If the name isn't familiar, the face, his real face, might be. He's appeared in 3 Terminator films and dozens of television shows over the past 40 years. But more important to the producers was his extensive experience as a voice actor, because he wasn't going to appear on camera, ... much. Bowen was directed to deliver his lines in front of a blue screen and told to avoid moving his head. We plan to keep Earl's eyes and mouth as a part of the final effect to lend verisimilitude to facial expressions and retain the actor's performance of dialogue, relates Dan Curry. It must have been a challenge to deliver a meaningful performance while keeping his head frozen, but it was necessary in order to map him onto a simple computer graphics face structure that we could manipulate in compositing, allowing Nagilum to look around the bridge. The technology was extremely primitive by today's standards. After hours of testing, associate producer Peter Lauritsen approved this look from one of the many different versions created in the edit bay. And then it has a little caption here for the photographs in the book. We'll read them because they might say something interesting. On the right, director Weinrich Kolbe sets up a shot from the episode. This was the first Star Trek assignment. A quick, creative director known for his skills in helming action-packed dramas like Magnum P.I., T.J. Hooker, and Spencer for Hire, Kolbe found himself challenged by Where Silence Has Lease, a classic bottle episode. Yes, it is a bottle episode. Once designed to utilize existing sets as much as possible to help keep the budget under control. Shooting was restricted to the bridge for much of the story. Kolbe kept things fresh by carefully choreographing movements of the camera and the actors. Apparently, the experience didn't sour him on Star Trek. In subsequent years, he'd become one of the franchise's primary go-to directors, helming an additional 15 TNG episodes, including the 2-hour finale, All Good Things, plus 13 episodes of Deep Space Nine, 18 episodes of Voyager, and 1 Ent. And that is all the block text has to say about Where Silence Has Lease. What did you think of this episode, and what did you think of the coverage, Captain?
Well, interesting coverage. And also, I believe Max in the chat said something about how they went with the name Nagilum because they tried to get actor Richard Mulligan to play that part.
That's true. It's an anadrome.
And so the guy from Soap?
Yeah, so it's an anadrome of so like Shakari and Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Nagilum's name was derived from the production's first choice, which would have been Richard Mulligan, and Mulligan in an anadrome would be Nagilum, so spelt backwards.
Okay. Well, that's that's a Bert from Soap. Huh? I can hear that guy now. This episode, I might have liked it if Bert from Soap were playing it. I can just hear the guy talking like that. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Oh, well, yes, he was on Empty Nest. That's true, Max. But I remember him from Soap. I never watched Empty Nest, but I know. Yeah. So I loved Soap though. That was a hilarious show. Yeah. Here we go. We open up with the opening scene in the holodeck. I guess some people might have sort of liked it with I just thought it was kind of silly, with Riker and Worf fighting Skeletor, but this I don't know. I mean, I don't hate it or anything. I just thought this episode was kind of. In fact, I'll give them a few points for trying to do something at least that's Trek-ish, that's science fiction or whatever. I just don't think they particularly executed it all that well, and it kind of gets kind of a little bit on the tedious side, to be honest with you. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one. Maybe I shall exercise my lease with an option to buy on silence there, and not say much about it, because it's kind of when you watch it and then you go. Now, to comment on some of the stuff that happened, the idea of an alien testing humans, doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we've seen it before. We're going to see it again 20 times.
Well, and it just happened with the child. That's what the child was
as
well.
It's the same thing.
You can definitely tell there's a writer's strike, because they just keep redoing the same idea. A godlike creature.
Right. Just fiddling with people.
Yeah, so it's this, and it's 2 in a row, and it's not fun.
And if you're that powerful, you don't really need to kill a guy to understand death. You could just ask questions, and it's one thing to to pull people into that void thingy, and then try to learn from them a little bit. How about I don't know, killing a person just to see what death is? That was disturbing, and I thought unnecessary, and it wasn't particularly interesting either. The whole thing just has a bad feel to it, and it's not. By the time you finally talk to the being, and they're gonna set the vessel self-destruct. I said go ahead and blow up the ship. Fine, whatever, blow it up. Right now I don't care. Blow up this thing, because hurry up and blow it up. In fact,
why didn't Hurley just go to Gene Roddenberry and say, look, I realize that you're having that your health is failing, and we didn't get along, and I basically voted you off the island. But there's this writer's strike. This is your baby. I stepped on your toes. I thought I was the big man on campus, and as it turns out, I suck. And would you please come back and help us through this writer's strike? And I humbly apologize for being a massive malacca to you. And instead, he just decides to just take the cart off the road, down into a pit, and roll around and poop.
Yes,
early.
Dull stuff, folks. I don't have a whole. Nerat and Max and Axamanda Bear, welcome. Good to see you.
Hey, Nerat, so good to see you, Max Redstone. Where silence has lease, but somehow Wesley can't get financing.
Yes, and look, and you know what, Nagilum, if you're going to test death on somebody, Wesley's got to be there somewhere.
Yeah.
Come on.
Or even a lower life form. Like if you're on a starship with families, you're looking at pets, you're looking at an entire area where they have pets that you could access. They probably have animals in their biolab. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And it's just, I don't know. This is bad writing, and there's a writer's strike, but you could have just apologized to Gene and he would have come back. It's all you needed to do. It wasn't really hard. Just apologize for voting him out of the writer's room. Just apologize.
Indeed. Well, notes. We'll go ahead and burn through this one. We'll give it. Well, I give it the time of day.
Clobby.
Yes, I saw it.
Snortapoopas put in the chat.
I put it up there. Yep.
Where bowels have movement.
You're a bad bear.
You're a good bear. I'm sending you chin scritchies. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, let's do my notes. You guys are hysterical. All right. So in my notes, my first note is bottle episode. It has to be done incredibly cheaply. And I wanted you all to know that the literary term of bottle episode actually came from the gentleman who I believe conceived the Outer Limits. And the idea was that the turn of the phrase would be that it had to be so cheaply done that it was tantamount to a genie in a bottle.
Leslie Stevens, right?
Yes, I believe so. So I just wanted everyone to know what the term means, because, you know, people throw a lot of authorial terms around, and other people have their own areas of expertise. So there's some jargon for you folks.
I didn't know he came up with that. Cool.
Yeah. And, or so it is said. I did a little bit of research on it, and it seemed to be verified. Like Thackeray and Sean Connery, Nagilim's name was derived from the production's first choice in Richard Mulligan. It is an anadrome. And an anadrome is when you spell something backwards. Where Silence Has Lease is a stanza from The Spell of the Yukon by Canadian poet Robert W. Service, echoing and amplifying the idea of going to the very edge in and of exploration. In Robert Service's case, it was the Yukon. And of course, in this case, it is the universe. So if you were wondering where that title comes from, it comes from the wonderful Canadian poet Robert W. Service. And I highly recommend his poetry. Pulaski making sure that we hate her with her ignorant and annoying comments about Pinocchio. Obviously, I mean Data there. Picard says, and this is the thing that really makes me like mad. It actually gets my hackles up. Picard says that was too easy upon killing an entire ship of humanoids. This is terrible character dialogue. I cannot believe that they wrote that line for him. That was too easy. Meanwhile, he had just killed hundreds of people, or supposedly. O'Brien has Lieutenant Pips. Later, obviously, O'Brien doesn't have Lieutenant Pips.
It's a chief, yeah.
Yes. This is very, my adult daughter who was born and bred Trekkie, she's got it in the blood. She always yells out, Twilight Zone episode, Twilight Zone episode. Haskell's nostrils move after his death. How unfortunate. And that's all I have for my notes.
Well, what is your, now I'll get your rating, then I'll give mine, and then I will ask our wonderful chat their rating on Where Silence Has Lease with an option to buy. Go for it.
So this is a C+ for me.
I got C-.
Okay.
And I just
once again,
because I give them at least, they were trying to at least have a feel of a Trek episode with something. Well, it's just that they really didn't write it very well, to be quite honest. Although you see, you could give it a little credit. I mean, at least he was mean to Pulaski and pushed her up and pushed her around and caused her, tortured her a little bit. So it's, for you Pulaski haters out there, there's that, folks.
Yep.
So. Chat, go for it. Give us your rating and any comments you may have on Where Nagilim Has Lease.
Yes.
Lease is the Enterprise, erases the Enterprise. Because I don't know, it's one of those. It's weird that sometimes I don't have a lot to say about an episode because I watched it a whole 2 days ago and it's so forgettable. And I've watched it a few times over the years. Of course, when I first saw it on TV, I thought, I don't know, maybe thought it was just sort of there then, but now even worse. All right, let's see here. Make sure I got the.
Isn't a mulligan? Isn't the I have absolutely no knowledge of sports whatsoever. I'd like to ask the
do-over.
Clobby, what is a mulligan in sports?
Wasn't it sort of like a do-over?
I think it's quite a very, very bad move in golf. I thought, but I
don't know much about golf. I've never heard it really related to football, but. I think it's something along the lines of like you get a do-over maybe, or like you get a chance to redo it or something.
I was going to say
I can't remember.
Isn't that ironic that it is it's some sort of disparaging label for something you do in sports. I believe it's golf, and it turns out that it's the anadrome for this episode. So I was just going to say, if that is the case, then it is a true mulligan.
Yeah, well, someone in the chat will know. We always
Mulligan stew.
Scuba Peach. D. It's a bottle episode, all right. As in driving me to the bourbon bottle. Engaged.
Oh, bravo, Scuba Pete.
Janet from another planet. I give this episode an F for forgettable. If you had not talked about it, I would never have remembered it. Well, look, there you go.
Love you, Janet.
That happens a lot too with some of these, Janet.
Yeah.
Start up with us. C-. Apparently, the way to convince Nagilum not to experiment on humans by killing them is to threaten to kill everyone. Take that, you silly whatever you. Yeah, it's kind of we'll kill ourselves. It's like I'll hold my breath like a little kid, like holding his breath. Or it's like threatening to kill yourself to stop someone from killing you. Yeah. You better not kill me or I'll kill myself. Well, good, that'll save me the bullet. Yeah, what the hell?
So my Scuba Pete and my bear are telling me that it's a free do-over, trying again without taking a stroke.
Yeah,
both gentlemen agree on that. So you were totally right on that, Clobby. I was kind of hoping it had a more disparaging connotation, like if you blew it on the golf course, because I was going to say this is a mulligan, but
Well, Richard Mulligan would agree with you. I think he may have passed, but he was hilarious on Soap. You ever see Soap? Great show.
I saw a couple episodes of it. Yeah.
I love that from the 70s. Yeah. Slaughter People's second part here. Ensign Haskell takes over Wesley's station on the bridge and dies. But dude, what a Haskell, you should have let Wesley sit there. Not that anybody seemed inclined to mention this as the episode continues. If only Wesley had stayed for a few minutes. Exactly. That was pathetic. That was really stupid. You're so right, Snort.
Oh, I love you. Such a good bear.
Yeah. Damn. That's the. I'm like, you don't have to kill the guy. By the way, you're pretty powerful. Can you bring him back, maybe? At least you go, look, if I'm going to kill you, at least have the good manners. If you're an all-powerful alien, if you kill somebody, bring them back. That's the least you could do. Come on.
Yeah.
Look, what was it? What's it? Nomad did that. Nomad brought Scotty back. Come on.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. This guy's not in the main cast. Of course we can kill him.
Yeah.
Enigmatic drop bear.
But one thing I do want to say about that though, is that Gene Roddenberry was very, very open. He actually articulated this. This isn't something that was just attributed afterwards by people who are trying too hard to read into Star Trek or whatever. The whole idea of the red shirt trope, or the fact that that happens, is Gene actually purposefully said out loud with his own mouth that was about accentuating the senselessness of what happens to people who are cops and people who are in the military, people who are killed in a senseless fashion. So it's actually supposed to it's supposed to hit us in our heart. It's supposed to make us think, oh, I never knew him, or why did he die? And I wish I would have known more about him. Or do you know what I'm saying? It's like picking up the paper and finding out that a police officer's been shot. So I know a lot of stuff has been attributed to that, but Gene Roddenberry did say that. And he said that when it was brought to light of how they were going to kill Denise Crosby's character in the same way. So when Tasha Yar was killed, that is when he revealed it. He said, no, it should be senseless. People who work in security and people who work in the military, they can be killed senselessly, and you don't know them, and you wish you did know them better, right? So anyway, sorry to interrupt you, Captain.
No, it's okay. No, well done. Enigmatic drop bear. D. Bermuda Triangle in space. Nagilum was an interesting idea, but the plot let it down. Pacing was pedestrian. The story lacked tension, and the resolution was preposterous. Who are you? Very well said.
Who are you? These comments are so well wrought.
Appreciate that, Enigmatic. You are an enigma, and a great one.
Yes.
Pat S. C. Nagilum, you appear to be an entity not bound by time and space. On behalf of Starfleet, I'd like to offer you a golden pizza cutter ship. where you can have a whole crew to play with. Take this free Wesley too.
Can we start with Wesley, please, before you do the auto destruct?
I can get behind that one there, buddy. Well, way to go, Pat S. Eric K. D. Just a very forgettable episode. Wesley and Pulaski sucks. They do. Yes, they combine for maximum suckage. Let's see here. Let's see here. Got more. I know we got more somewhere. There we go. So you mentioned C- again. It's another story about an omnipotent alien judging humanity and the captain threatening to blow up the ship. I think I stopped watching the original airing for a while after this one. Well, I couldn't blame you.
Yeah, it turned you off. Hey, that's crazy, but I don't blame you, Steve Mitchum.
Yep. Okay, it's tough to blame you on that one, brother. Clobby, the writing wasn't very well put. I think the actors and actresses did the best they could with what was handed to them. Again, and they tried to put more of an effort in the writing. I give it a C-. Well, yeah, I mean, that is always the case where the actors and actresses, are told what to do, and they're given. You never can hang the story on them. So, Wolfie, C. Nagilam's forgettable. Enterprise is not the only Galaxy-class starship in Starfleet. Yeah, they showed what was supposedly the Yamato. But, cool canon, but they screw it up later with the Yamato by forgetting what the ship was and the registry. That's a good point, etc.
Yeah.
That is a good point. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Canadian
Spider-Man says, I don't think I've seen this episode here. I thought that I had seen them all. I can't afford well, that's a review in itself, sir, because you may have seen it, just don't remember it. Yeah. You probably did and just can't even remember it, buddy.
I believe if LT were here, he would say, "You aren't missing much."
You aren't missing much. That's for the LT man. Sandra Feliciano, C- or D. Too unscientific for a species who wants to conduct an experiment. You don't let your subject know about the experiment or kill for the sake of killing. Resolution is just too stupid. Indeed. I cannot disagree with that at all. It is really dumb.
Yep.
Really blase. Yep. C for Kal-El. Barely. The trope of testing humanity is tiresome at this point, especially since Nagilam only seemed interested in ways humans can die. Really wish Wesley was on the bridge in this episode. Yeah, but this stuff about I understand your species can die. Well, if you know that, what do you want to test it for?
Yeah,
you don't even understand the concept of death. Well, you don't. I mean, you could learn the language, so you can't learn that without. You
could also just share all the data banks and share that information. Right. You could enter the hologram. There are many ways. It's just trying to make the entity appear to be incredibly malevolent, and then it tries at the end to say that it's not, and that it actually has higher ethics than human beings. So they're not quite ready yet, and it's just discombobulated crap.
Yeah, what was Q busy or something? And at least Q was fun.
Yeah.
Fabioki 100 C+ for me. When I saw this episode the first time, I was like, great, another big talking head alien. Yeah, and a really ridiculous looking one as well.
Snortapoopas, try the ship's library. It's full of literature, poetry, philosophy, all about death. Yes, Snortapoopas. You good bear.
Good bear.
Chin scritches just for you.
Jill, are you seeing posts from Raquel? You're not posting anything, are you?
No, my goodness, no. I never post to the live chat when I'm on a stream.
Yeah, okay.
Mostly because I can't, because of the version of StreamYards I have.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean there, Stephen. Rod Thunhart, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. I really appreciate it, sir. Thank you, my friend. I remember it. I was enthralled as a 16-year-old. As a 50-year-old, I'm like, all-powerful being challenged the crew. Oh, look, the plot thins.
Yeah, Rod.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
I
thank you for
appreciate.
that super chat, Rod.
Yes, thank you so much, my friend. As always, it's always great to see you pop in, and you are much appreciated, sir. Jill, you're up. Raquel.
Oh, yes. Anti-derivative Jill. Sorry, I was reading the live chat. One out of 5. So she's going to give us 5 comments, and she's given the episode a C+. Jill has said, this episode had such a fun start with Riker and Worf working out. But what does Worf mean that his own programs are too personal? Maybe I don't want to know. 2 of 5. I like Data saying science dictates we must admit when we don't know something, and also Worf for his misgivings, even though they come from a Klingon legend. I dislike that Pulaski calls Data it again. Yeah, she does. But do like when they talk about how the whole could be another dimension. But Picard cuts them off. The Yamato was spooky and reminded me of Portal. 4 out of 5, Jill says, we have yet another being who acts superior and takes over the Enterprise. Worse, it asks for a demonstration of reproduction. Another creepy invasive alien. At least this time, Pulaski can say no. Jill, are you old enough to have ever watched Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom?
Wow, I remember that.
We do that all the time. We're a little weird and creepy like that too. This is why there is Pornhub. 5 out of 5, Jill says.
Never heard of it. Sorry.
It wants to kill for experimentation like Yahtzees. He has the gall to say humanity is too violent, but at least has the decency to leave them alone forever after. So no more ugly CGI face.
Well said, as always, Jill.
Very nice, Jill.
Thank you. Indeed, indeed. Max Redstone, C+. We get to see the beginning of the Riker-Worf bromance. Damn you, Mo Hurley. If they couldn't get Richard Mulligan, maybe David Leisure. Oh, wow, I remember him. Equals, let's see here. This lease makes me wish it was month to month.
Oh, I wonder. The anadrome for leisure, snortopupus. If you could put that in the live chat, I would very much appreciate it. The anadrome for leisure.
D- for Rod Thunderheart. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Yes, what was a good idea, Jill? I'm not sure what it was now, but let's see. I really have those, so I'd like to write that down if I ever have a good idea, which is never. Thank you. Monica D with a C. B-, where the immunity syndrome has almost gone before.
I love you, Mark.
Good one, by the way. Too similar to past episodes, and Q is much more interesting character. But I like the concept of exploring the unknown. Well, yeah. Sure. The best part of the episode was Picard's speech about God, which summarizes intelligent design, considering the marvelous complexity of our universe, its clockwork perfection, its balances. Let's see here. Of this against that, matter, energy, gravitation, time, dimension. But anyway, I believe that our existence. I'll stop. I can't help but have it. And when I see Picard's speech, must be more than either of these philosophies. That what we are goes beyond the. Is that Euclidean?
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Yeah, that's good.
No. I can't pronounce crap.
It's okay.
Actually, I can. CRAP. I did. Just kidding.
7,099 languages in our world today. So I love your approach to language, Clobby. I wish more people had that same approach.
I'm still learning one.
Hey, did you see that Max Redstone super sticker?
I don't know. Did I?
Max sent a super sticker at 43 minutes past the hour, and I don't want it to expire.
Oh, I'm not to it yet. Then.
Okay, good.
I always have to hold back the chat so I can get everybody's.
Gotcha, Captain. I.
Canadian Spider-Man. I wonder if the South Park writers fashioned Kenny's continual senseless deaths after the famous Star Trek Red Shirt. Good question. You killed Kenny, you bastards.
I know nothing of that.
Well, every episode there's a character called Kenny that gets killed at the end of the episode, and they always say, "They killed Kenny, you bastards!" And of course, next episode he's just alive again. Raymond Feliciano. No grade on this one. I passed my rating to Sort of Prove Burr, as I have not seen this one and probably won't. Well, I guess I can't blame you there, Raymond. Yes, I did. We did see that. You didn't hear us read the super chat there, Rod?
Yes, we did read your super chat.
Yes, we saw that, buddy. Thank you so much.
And it was a great comment, by the way, sir.
Yep. Let's see. I'm slowing up here, so I try not to miss everyone with my eyesight, though. It happens sometimes, my friend. Hey, the podcast with Ian Slater. Hello there, Ian. It's good to see you, my friend.
Welcome.
Always a pleasure, sir. Always a pleasure. Good to have you here. We appreciate you. Let's see here. Bop, bop, bop. What did you miss, Ian? Well, we're reviewing every Saturday night. We review Star Trek. We're doing all Real Trek 66 through 05, and we are tonight. We're starting the second season of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and we are 2 episodes in. We're about to get on to our 3rd episode in just a second there. But it is an honor to see you. Let's see here. I think we got all the reviews other than that. Max Redstone with a $2 super sticker. Thank you so much, Rack.
Thanks, Max.
Max, thank you so much again, Max. I appreciate you. And appreciate everyone's and what we do here, Ian, so you know, is we if you've seen the episode, we talk about it with Raquel and I review it and talk about the episode, and then of course we get our wonderful friends in the chat to give their rating and their review one as well. So and it's good to see you here because I do know who you are, sir. Okay. I think we may have everything. Let's just make sure. Bop, bop, bop. I think we got them all. If we miss anyone, please holler.
Yes, let us know, because sometimes on this side of StreamYard,
there we go.
Not only do we have a much different view, but it glitches sometimes. So yeah, please let us know.
Oh, well, thank you for the super chat there. The podcast with Ian Slater. This is the first time I believe I've seen you pop in, and I want to thank you so much for that, and thank you for popping in. But yes, so what we do on Saturday nights, and again, sometimes it's good to say it again for anyone who's new. We are reviewing all of Real Star Trek, as I said just a minute ago, 66 through 05 only, and we are on episode. We started at the very beginning of the year. We did the original series, animated series, the original crew films, and now we are in the thick of starting out Star Trek: The Next Generation. Tonight we're on the first 4 episodes of season 2. We're doing them 4 episodes a week, and we review it. My wonderful first officer Raquel and I, and then we rate it, and then we get our participation from our chat to do the same. So you only missed the first 2 episodes. We're about to move on to our next one. Just want to make sure I have everything here. And again, it is a pleasure to see you, sir.
The wonderful Janet from Another Planet has said, "Thank you for letting me crash into your live feed for a little while, but I have got to go to bed. I will see you all later. Thanks again," or "Thank you again," or "Talk to you later again," or I don't know.
Love you, Janet. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate you. Canadian Spider-Man with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Canadian Spider-Man, my friend, buddy. Can't wait for CLOBBERIN and EBN Con. April 30, 2020.
Steve, can you do me a favor? Can you please email Clobby and his show email, and please voice when you would like to do ClobbyCon. Last week I was talking about how the central gathering, the muster point, would be well, it's just my suggestion. It doesn't have to stick. Would be the local con in Louisiana. So if you could voice which one you would like to go and which date works for you, I'd like to start pulling some of these dates down and nailing them down from space, and so that we're able to actually mobilize ClobbyCon and make it happen.
Indeed. Another $2 super chat from Ian Slater. Thank you again, Ian. I really appreciate that. And it's an honor to have you here. Says, I have had a crap week. Sorry to hear about that, bud. I need some ST therapy. Well, that's what we do here. We love hanging out, and it's therapy in of itself. We have a great crew here In a great chat, you'll find a bunch of wonderful people who love Star Trek, and we have a good time. And we always welcome new friends to join us. So I hope we can make your week a little bit better, sir, because, it's always tough when you have a rough week. That's why Saturday Night Star Trek is always so much fun for number one here and myself. So thank you for that again. We appreciate you. We always like having new people.
Captain,
yes.
Steve's asking where he can find that email. It's in the show notes, but could you maybe just share it to the chat so that he has it? I know that it's just because I know Steve is definitely going to be going, and the Canadians are going to have to do a little bit more planning than the Americans because we've got a ways to go. So I want to get it to him as early as possible.
Yes, I'll put it in the chat right here, right now. You can email me at this one.
Wicked. Thank you so much, Captain.
If you're not on Twitter, you could just Twitter DM if you are on Twitter. But
yeah, Twitter DM.
The twat is useful for that, at least. Yeah. Okay, things. Well, I'm having a little bit of a trouble with my super chat here. It's kind of wonky, everyone. So please, sorry about that. Anyway, so I believe we're ready to move on to our next episode, folks. Are we not?
Yeah, we are. Now we've landed on Elementary Dear Data, Season 2, Episode 3, Prod Code 129. This first aired on December 5th, 1988. And just to keep us copyright compliant, we are, or I am, extemporaneously reading excerpts from the book entitled Star Trek 365, The Next Generation. It is written by Paula M. Block with an assist by her husband, Terry J. Erdman, and it has been blessed by the great Ronald D. Moore. We are on tile 76. I say that because this is a brick of a text. Without further ado, whatever.
Take care, Raymond. I'm sorry, I was saying goodbye to Raymond. They're leaving.
Oh no! Good night, Felicianos.
Good night. Sorry about that, number one. Go ahead.
That's okay. Whatever I was when this began, I have grown. I am understanding more and more, and I am able to use the power at my fingertips. Moriarty. Knowing that Data appreciates Sherlock Holmes stories, Geordi LaForge programs the holodeck to create a Holmes adventure for Data to participate in. But because Data's computer-like brain has memorized every published Holmes story, the adventure isn't much of a challenge. Dr. Pulaski challenges LaForge to have the holodeck come up with a new adventure and an opponent who could actually beat the android. The holodeck simulator responds by making Professor Moriarty, Holmes's fictional nemesis, a self-aware entity within the program, whereupon Moriarty promptly kidnaps Dr. Pulaski and threatens to take over the ship. His ultimate goal? Freedom from the confines of the holodeck. And now from brick 77. In the 24th century, there doesn't seem to be a heck of a lot of difference between an android whose mental processes are the product of a positronic brain, which is, for all practical purposes, a very advanced computer, and a hologram whose mental processes have been programmed by a very advanced computer like the one on the Enterprise D. Well, the measure of a man soon would be lauded for its well-reasoned take on an android's rights as a sentient being, the rights of something far less tangible, a sentient hologram, set the stage here for many an intriguing Star Trek episode to come. Data's behavior operates within the parameters established by Dr. Noonien Sung, the man who designed that marvelous brain. Actually, Isaac Asimov did, but initially, the Professor Moriarty hologram in Elementary Dear Data can behave only within the parameters of his fictional counterpart, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Doyle's Sherlock Holmes books. However, thanks to Geordi's ill-conceived programming directive, he tells the computer to create an adversary capable of defeating Data. The Moriarty program evolves to a sentient that rivals Data's. The artificial intelligences, AIs, that Captain Kirk encountered during his travels a century earlier weren't nearly as complex as the ones that Picard and later Voyager's Captain Janeway meet up with. Yeah, because Kirk could talk him to death. Kirk could easily trip up the logic circuits of 23rd century AIs and push the not quite sentient constructs to force quit mode. But Moriarty, and presumably the mysterious minuet created by the Bionars, is virtually human. So is Star Trek Deep Space Nine's holosuite character Vic Fontaine, and any number of holograms introduced on Star Trek Voyager, particularly the ship's emergency medical hologram, EMH, who, like Data, ultimately goes to court to press for the rights inherent to sentient technology. What hath science wrought? Is sentience in a conglomeration of light and energy particles a good thing or a bad thing? The jury's still out on that. In the meantime, unless a hologram has access to an autonomous holo-emitter like Voyager's EMH, he's pretty much stuck on the holodeck. And that is all the block text has to say about Elementary Dear Data. What did you think of the coverage, Captain, and what did you think of the episode?
Very interesting coverage, and I've always really liked this one, but it's because I'm just a sucker for Sherlock Holmes. What can I tell you? I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan, and I've always really enjoyed Spiner's little, performance as a Data who is kind of obsessed with Sherlock Holmes. I thought this was a fun, engaging story where, again, a fun one, just fun from beginning to end. I know there's still some of that stuff for Pulaski's being nasty to Data or whatever, all that kind of crap. But but it was kind of necessary to the story in this case, I suppose. I really enjoy this one. I always have a good time with it. It's the concepts. Of course, you just went through it with the coverage about that would set the tone, set the template for many, many discussions and episodes to come throughout all of Star Trek about what is life, and even though it's quote unquote artificial, did we create life and things like that? All that kind of starts here, really. Seems like, as you've said, and so thoroughly entertaining when they get these two clunkers coming out of the gate that are like, ugh. And then when I saw this one, even back then, I was like, there we go. We can have a little bit of fun with this one. And it's kind of, if you're going to do a holodeck story, you found a much cleverer way than having to make up some silly contrivance every time you're on the holodeck to find them an excuse. This one was a misspoken edict for the game, which I thought was kind of fun. I mean, I actually love the scene when Geordi realizes, oh my God, when he realized, I said, give us an adversary capable of defeating Data, not Holmes. I love that scene. And I've always found it to be thoroughly enjoyable.
Steve Mitchum says the old man is fading fast. Good night, my friends.
Good night, buddy.
To disembark. Yes, permission granted, Steve Mitchum. And have a wonderful evening, and kiss Maddie's whole face for me. And I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for stopping by and supporting the show, and for all of your wonderful comments and your wonderful company, Steve.
Take care, buddy. Have a good one. So there you go. We finally hit on one that I don't have a lot of complaints about.
Yeah.
Bound to happen.
Yeah, it is significantly better.
Yes. What happened?
Nothing.
Well, do you have notes? You have notes about this one?
I do have notes. So for this one, and if this is the first time you're experiencing my notes, I watch Star Trek, all 735 iterations of it in order every single year. So when called upon to co-host this show, I decided to take notes so that they become my organic reactions to each and every episode instead of a typical review. So here they are. Definitely not Maird, but Pulaski is almost insufferable. So pretty sure the Canadians and those in Louisiana know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh,
there.
yes.
Other linguistic highlights from the American Daniel Davis. He says scone. Davis is correct here. Scone is how they pronounce scone in England and Scotland. And I thought everyone would think it was really cool that they say scoon in a part of Scotland where that's the name of the town. So scone is in the Republic of Ireland and the rest of the world. The paper should not have been able to exist outside of the holodeck. Holodeck matter has no physical form. This is a Wesley Crusher free episode with an exclamation point.
No wonder I liked it.
Yeah. It is often said Hurley wrote an ending where P. Hard lied to Moriarty. Gene Roddenberry vetoed this ending. He said that it was unnecessarily cruel. This is not referenced. It is uncited. This is simply people repeating one another with no source material named. So is it possible that Gene Roddenberry vetoed? Yes, but it's also important for people to realize he had been voted out of the writer's room at this point. You can thank Maurice Hurley for that. I put wonderful science fiction that seeks to grapple with the consequences of technology. Of course, that is the linchpin of science fiction. It should be an exemplification of us grappling with the consequences of technology and extraterrestrial life forms. It opens the door for an ongoing discussion about self-awareness in computers and software. And it was nominated for 2 Emmy Awards. And that's all I have in my notes, Captain.
Yes, I've always found it to be, again, part of it is being a Holmes fan, you know, and they have especially early on when Data's going through all these things and easily solving everything and all these references to actual Holmes stories and titles. I thought that was kind of fun. Just a little bit of fun there if you're a fan of the old stories. But yeah, just the kind of thing that if you're gonna, obviously we all know some have said, and there's probably something to it that you can overuse the holodeck. But if you're gonna have once in a while one like that, at least make it kind of fun like this one. And I do like very much the way Picard just, instead of the thing, boiling down to some exciting, confrontation, it was really about just talking his way out of it for a change. Just like they talked things out. Sometimes they have something where that I think sort of like the idiot plot where two characters, where a story can easily be solved if two people just stop and talk for 5 seconds about something, and people don't do that because they want to have an action ending or something like that. I like that it was just let's talk about it and let's be reasonable. And this being, this new sort of life form, and this sort of a being in a sense, was reasonable.
Yeah.
And just stopped right there. And I like that it ended on a peaceful note like that. I just thought that was interesting and very Trek.
The production is very good on this as well. I mean, the costumes are
yes.
Excellent, and yeah, of course, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. His short stories are just amazing, and the whole idea of Sherlock Holmes. It's a wonderful episode, especially for season 2.
I really enjoyed it a lot. So, what is your rating of Elementary Dear Data?
Well, I know that Elementary Dear Data is a beloved episode by many Trekkies. I know it's also beloved by many Trekkers. So those who came in at the TNG era and they've not watched TOS, some of them have even, ranked this as, I believe there are a couple of publications where the authors have ranked this episode the 5th best episode in Star Trek in TNG. I don't feel that way. I do like science fiction. I do like hard science fiction, and I do like the fact that in Gene Roddenberry's Bible, he tells us that hard science fiction is the ideal, not science fantasy. And certainly, I am very annoyed by this consistent display of abuse towards what the holodeck is and what the holodeck does, because of course the holodeck is science fiction. Of course, Gene met with somebody in the 1970s, and that's how scientists developing this in New York, and that's how it appeared in TAS, right? The animated series. At that time, it was called The Rec Room. So I really, really don't like the fact that holodeck matter has physical form continually. It's annoying, whether that's a snowball or whether that's an illness, like a disease or a cold or a cough, or it's a piece of paper. Holodeck matter has no physical form. So that said, I want to give this episode an A-, but I can't. It's just a B for me, and the only reason is, you know, that the whole idea of the Rec Room, the whole idea of the holodeck is so beautiful, and it's not fantasy, it's fiction, science fiction, and it is possible, it is technology, and so we need to make sure that we're minding our P's and Q's when we're using science future, when we're using futurism, and we don't reduce it to fantasy, because then we're demeaning our very purpose. So yeah, I'd like to give it a.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. That was good. What made it fantasy in this case? Because then you talk about the snowball, like that time that the snowball went off and hit Picard out of the holodeck. What was fantasy in this one, though? To your mind,
the paper.
The paper.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. When you mean they took it out?
Yeah. Just
they took it out of the holodeck.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Stop doing that.
They screwed up.
Yeah, and when you have people like Harlan Ellison around on B5, they take care of stuff like that. When in TOS, especially in TMP, when they have issues like that, they'd call up Isaac Asimov and they'd say, look, you know, Carl Sagan this. And they would make sure that it's right. But it's very important for people to realize, like, a lot of new fans think that they can just call it fantasy and that it's all just pretend, and it's just like a big fun soap opera in space. But for me, I don't like that. That's just my one bone that I have to pick with it, because of course Gene met with somebody who was pioneering this technology, and it's real. It's technology, it's not fantasy. So, you know, holodeck matter has no physical form. The paper should not have been able to exit holodeck.
Right.
So I want to give it an A-, because I do think this is a great episode, but I can't go higher than a B+. I mean, I almost want to give it a B, because I hate it when they take science fiction and reduce it to science fantasy, and they didn't even have to. Data could have, Data could have gone over and said, computer, place this image on the shipwide screen, or share with Captain Picard, and then go directly to the bridge to discuss it with him. It's just sloppy, and I don't like it when they take science fiction and reduce it to science fantasy. I love science fantasy. Science fantasy is a lot of fun. It's really cool. I like vampire stories. I like magic. I like superheroes. I like all that stuff. All that stuff is excellent stuff. But I like my science fiction to stay science fiction. So I can't go above a B+. I'm sorry, I just can't.
Well, Lord Thoth is here with us tonight, and has taken over Raquel.
Now I'm Scrooge McDuck.
You hard noser, you. No, but I hear you. And look, I totally. I think, man, I don't know. Just didn't think about it, but when I saw that, but it is goof, absolutely goof. It doesn't affect my enjoyment of the episode. We get so little enjoyment these days with this show at this stage. So I give it an A, folks. I really enjoyed this episode. Let's see. So now we will have your ratings and comments, my friends.
Dun 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 dun! Bring in those ratings and those comments, folks.
Elementary, my dear colleague.
Yeah, Rod Thunderheart. Absolutely. Trekkies and Trekkers were distinguished, and it was pretty brutal for that first while, where Trekkers were saying, "Don't you call me a Trekkie? I don't watch that old crap. I like TNG." So yeah, I like that you remember that, because it was quite the rift in the fandom. So yeah.
Alara Carrison, welcome. Good to see you.
Alara,
hello.
I can't see you in the live chat. I don't know why StreamYard must be acting up, but hello, nice to see you. Welcome. So glad you showed up.
It is well, yeah, I think it is based on hard light, Alaric, but again, that's got to be within the influence. Just like when the holographic doctor needed the emitter eventually, he couldn't leave sickbay because of the emitters, and they had to have a remote emitter and stuff. So that piece of paper shouldn't have got out of there. Just like you said, the snowball, or the what's his name, the bad guys from Big Goodbye, when they walked out into the corridor or whatever.
Yeah, and they dematerialized as though they were being transported, and of course that wouldn't happen. What would happen is that the light would cease to be able to bounce off to create the image, so there would be no disintegration in a hallway.
Right.
And so yeah, but there are ways of getting around that if you have science fiction authors on hand, and it's very obvious that Maurice Hurley is not a science fiction author, and so I got to call him as I see him. I know I sound like a jerk, but it's just, I really love holodecks. I love the idea of creating holo suites. One day we're going to have that. That is science fiction. It is science futurism. It is technology. It is not a fantasy. And so we must be certain to convey that to the lay people in public as communications and technology people, and even as engineers, computer engineers. We have to make sure we keep our boots polished and we don't send mixed signals to them about what's real and what isn't.
It was a total goof up on their part, not a question about it. I believe I'm at the beginning here. Scuba Pete A. I'm piping up. One of my fun episodes as a kid. Data as Holmes never gets old. Love the rest of the crew dressing up and helping out too.
Scuba Pete, what is your favorite pipe to smoke? My father used to smoke the strawberry stuff, the stuff that smells like strawberries.
Let's see here. Pipes. I need a pipe now. I need to give him one. Cal-L A-. A great story. A great story. It felt like real Trek for the first time in TNG. It would have been an A, except Data was able to bring Moriarty's sketch out of the Enterprise. Oh, there you go, someone else. There you go. You got some company out of the holodeck. So it's also penalizing it for a big time gaffe.
Yeah,
that should be called out. That's why we love you, number one.
I love you too.
Attic KB+. Finally, a good episode. Finally, a good episode. I wish they did so much more with Professor Moriarty. Well, it does come back. Oops, spoiler alert. Maybe P. Hard could have played chess with him advise anything. Pulaski still sucks, but the show finally showed promise.
Yeah.
Indeed,
love you, Eric.
Indeed, it's the great case. Narta Pupa Scuba says. B. I love Sherlock Holmes, and the performances by Brent Spiner and Daniel Davis were wonderful. R.I.P. Jeremy Brett. Yeah, Jeremy Brett was a great Sherlock Holmes. I'm absolutely with you there. I love Jeremy Brett. And I love the Jeremy Brett Holmes episodes. Snortopoopas. And but yes, Daniel Davis was terrific as well. Let's see here. I'm still uncomfortable about the holodeck being able to create true sentient life, but it will become a recurring theme. Where does AI leave off and sentience begin? Well, that's what Star Trek's all about, to ask those questions, my friend.
Yes.
It's hard to imagine the future of Star Trek without it, however.
Yeah, because it becomes this recurring theme, and there's a good reason for that, because we are eventually going to have to face that. We're going to have to say to ourselves, when technology is able to cross that line, when does technology have a right? So we have human rights. When will technology earn the right to have the same to be viewed the same way as a human being? And that is definitely something we are going to face, folks. It's not science fantasy. It's not a soap opera in space. It's not huggy kissy kissy cry rubbing each other's backs. This is hard science fiction, and it's science future, and we'll be grappling with that in short order.
B for Wolfie. Holosuite done broke again. This time, actually, Geordi made a mistake. I don't think it broke, but there you go. Sure as hell won't be the last, but that's okay. Moriarty is great. Acting and writing is pretty spot on here. You can tell the crew had a lot of fun filming this.
Yeah,
indeed. I
and it's always fun when you have gorgeous sets with gorgeous costumes, and taking a step back in history, juxtaposition to this super futurism. It creates magic, doesn't it, Wolfie? Ow, ow, ow!
Indeed, indeedishness. Enigmatic drop bear. 1 of 3 there. B-. Enjoyable Data story. Daniel Davis's portrayal of Moriarty was superb, which really lifted this episode. The story was a little rushed, and it may have been better as a 2-parter. Let's see here. Let me get to your next one here. Part 2. There were a number of holodeck-related problems. Moriarty aware of Arch before Geordi enabled it. Existence of Enterprise drawing outside. Yes, well, another one. I'm glad people are catching that one. Moriarty's ability to control the Enterprise. Yep. Let's see here.
Whoever you are, enigmatic drop bear, I really, really appreciate your company and your wonderful comments. You have a wonderful mind. I'm enjoying your company immensely. Welcome to the community. I just had to tell you how much I appreciate you.
Welcome. You know, enigmatic, I'm not finding your third comment. Oh, there it is. I ran my past it. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. Here we go. The inability of senior crew to override the holodeck control walkout doesn't pass muster. Good point. Let's see here. Max. Oh, sorry, Max Redstone. Let's see. Okay, we got Jill, then we got Max coming up next here.
Okay.
Go for it. Number one.
Where's
with Jill.
My beautiful there? Jill. So anti-derivative Jill, she's done 4 comments. We're going to start with one from 4. And Jill has decided to give this episode a solid A. And she says, Geordi's classic ship is beautiful. And I love Data and Geordi together. Yeah, Jill, aren't they a wonderful pair?
They really
Even
are.
Pulaski is at least more logical when she's rude to Data this time. Also, I'm a sucker for holodeck episodes. 2 of 4. Moriarty is confirmed in the Holmes canon to have a vastly intelligent mind. So his developing consciousness when the computer is programmed to defeat Data is plausible.
Wow, that's true.
And then she says 4 of 4. Thusly, he concludes he is a life form. Now,
did I miss one?
Yeah.
Let's go to 3. I'm sorry, I messed you up. I tripped you up.
We caught
it wrong.
3 of 4. Data shouldn't have been able to take the drawing off the Enterprise out of the holodeck. And I would have liked to have seen more on how Moriarty made his discoveries. Certainly an analog, no less. I mean, he was able to crank shake the ship. 4 of 4, anti-derivative Jill says, thus he concludes he is a life form now that he wants to exist. It's a prelude to the conscious hologram program before the Doctor in Voyager. We'll see Moriarty again, and he won't be happy.
Nope, he won't. Ship in the Bottle, I believe that episode was called. The Catman at KDD Miners. I truly enjoyed this one with heart and passion alike. I give it an A-. Indeed, and welcome. Thank you for that. Max Redstone says, A-. This is the first time where we actually see the TNG universe actually grow. This growth is inspired by a mix of Geordi's frustrations and Pulaski's being a poorly one-off curmudgeon. Fair enough, absolutely. The genius of Geordi's grammatical era, allowing the computer to be pushed to its limits and to create life, and this, excuse me. Would be a theme that would be repeated throughout the run of the series. It's 2 of 4. Let me see if I can find your other one there, Max. I'm on it. I'm gotta get to. Oh, there we go. The friendship of Data and Geordi, the inception of Data's holodeck shenanigans, and Moriarty as an enjoyable and understandable villain. Although Pulaski is full of more than crumpets. Yes.
Yes.
I fully agree with Raquel's comments in regard to continuity about the holodeck matter existing outside. I can forgive the goof for the sake of Data's dramatic reveal.
Yeah. And everything else, like the costumes and the story, just overall, like I think it's a triumph, especially because it's being done during the writer's strike. But at the same time, I really would have liked it if Hurley would have been brought to his knees and he would have brought my hero back, because of course he can make sure, you know, he's the sommelier. He's able to make sure that everything is good, just like Isaac Asimov, just like Harlan Ellison. Gene Roddenberry is vital to his own IP.
Indeed, indeed. Stephen Thompson, Captain James T. Skywalker. B, learning to crawl before you can walk episode. The piece of paper out of the holodeck was the only poopy diaper. Sorry, Maddie. Indeed. Nirat Naxamanda Bear. It is a silly episode, but I like it more I like it more than most. I still rate it an A.
Yeah.
For me, this is classic, easy listening Trek.
I got you, Nirot.
A lot of fun. You sit, you kick back, and Trek is entertainment as well, and sometimes that's what's so wonderful about it. It can really make you think. It can shake you up. It can do all kind of things, and sometimes you can just have a little fun with it, and we like that. Let's see here. Pot S. A-. Hey, let's invite the new doctor. She seems to not like us and sucks the joy out of any room she's in.
Right.
Also, let's hire Moriarty to draw a caricature of 10 Forward on Tuesday and Saturdays. Win-win.
Pat.
Yep. And she was, I guess, the character was, you needed some character to kind of push the two into this little thing that they were doing at this point. But yeah, she didn't have to be such a biatchel about it.
Yeah, like seriously. What's your problem, lady?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Canadian Spidey. A. I do understand Raquel's contention with the science fantasy aspect, but I just loved how they made it an episode about AI superiority and all that question entails. Well done.
Yep. Love you, Steve. Yep.
Agreed.
It's just a little hiccup. Like, I just wish that somebody who is a science fiction author would have been around to correct them and let them know that they needed to polish their boots a little bit. It's really wonderful to show up at an event and you're wearing a tuxedo and you look gorgeous and you smell wonderful and you have on just the right amount of jewelry and your hair looks great. You're a handsome guy. And then you look down at your boots and they're covered in mud because you walked through some poo. Somebody should have stopped you before you said, look, you have poop on your boots.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, love you, Steve.
Rod Thunderheart, A+. I liked the whole idea of new science fantasy with the holodeck and able to create matter. To me, it really opened up the new Trek, as well as delving into the now dicey concept of AI, which, that's one. Oh, okay, we got another one. I'm so here. Which? Oh, there we go. We are now wrestling with. It is absolutely scary. It is absolutely scary back then. Even Rocket Robin Hood had an episode where an AI robot expanded past its creator and froze him because it observed human insects.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Robin Hood. So good.
Rocket Robin Hood. Let's see here. Bop. Alora Carrison says, A-. Overall, well thought out episode. It did give each actor the opportunity to explore their character in a good way and good role interaction between the characters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that, Alora Carrison.
We got a fairly highly rated episode here.
It is.
I get Fabioki 100. I gave it a B+. One of the better holodeck episodes on TNG. Gonna rewatch it now.
Oh,
Excellent.
That's exactly what we want. That's the whole reason why Clobby and I started this whole thing, is we wanted to create that for everyone. That is so great.
Absolutely.
Mwah, mwah.
Indeed. Nagaretsa Marca, do you want to see? B. Great concept, and although explained shouldn't. Great concept, and although explained, should they have a way to turn off the holodeck? Yes, they should, but foreshadows the episode Measure of a Man and my favorite character in Voyager, the medical EMH, one of 3. Will computers become sentient someday? Moriarty, does Data have life? He's a machine, but is that all he is? High concepts for a TV show, and it is a very sad ending. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Bop. Let's see here. Moriarty, I am no longer that creation. I am no longer that evil character. I have changed. I am alive, and I am aware of my own consciousness. Yep. Love that stuff.
I think that P. Hard was pretty happy that he got to shut him down, because he seemed reasonable, but he also tried to, who said it in the chat, make the steampunk kill switch. And it would have been great if they just would have been able to give him quarters and set up everything that would be required in the quarters to create a holodeck, or not a holodeck, but a holo suite, because I mean it is just light, right? So yeah, it is quite sad, but wouldn't that have been great if Moriarty was just there and you could just go and see
Yeah. Lots of poop chalks, Fabio. Yeah, I don't blame the poop chalk on me there, Fabio. It's out of my hands, my friend. They can poop all they want. Let's see here. Well, I think we are ready to continue on to our final episode of the evening, number one.
Yeah, Canadian Spider-Man. I call things poop. I say that they're poopy. I also give raspberries when things really stink. I go just can't help myself. I try not to be vulgar, and I try not to use profanity. So rather than dropping a whole bunch of F-bombs and so on and so forth and acting as though I'm enraged by things, I just basically call it poop.
Just the way it is. We're now moving on to our fourth and final episode of the evening, my friends.
Yes.
The outrageous OKONA.
Yeah, the outrageous OKONA, season 2, episode 4, prod code 130. This originally aired on December 12th, 1988. I am going to start reading an excerpt from Star Trek 365, The Next Generation by Paula M. Block, and she gets an assist here from her husband, Terry J. Erdman. This book was blessed by Ronald D. Moore. I highly recommend it. I am going to read extemporaneously, keep that in mind, please, from tile or page 78. I do recommend this book, by the way. I recommend all of the Paula M. Block books. She is a great researcher. She normally has access to things like, because she goes to the original source material. She goes to the original people and gets interviews. So she's able to get information other people don't get. And she also is known for veracity. Everything that she puts in her books, you can count on it being true. Yeah, a wonderful book. Highly recommend. And a beautiful book to have on your shelf. Not so great to look at the pictures. You only want to look at the pictures once because the spine is quite ridiculous. Hysterical, in fact. I don't know why they made the book this compact and this severe, because the stress on the spine is unbelievable until you see it in real life. Anyway, that said, we are on tile or page 78. Take my wharf, please, Data. Captain Picard's decision to help a charmer named OKONA repair his spaceship draws the Enterprise crew into an unpleasant confrontation with the rulers of 2 nearby worlds. Each demands that Picard turn over OKONA. One claims that the young man stole a sacred jewel, while the other says that the rogue impregnated his daughter. Picard realizes that if he gives OKONA to either accuser, the action may trigger an interplanetary war. On the other hand, if he doesn't comply with the either man, the 2 worlds are likely to open fire on the Enterprise. It's the closest Han Solo ever got to Star Trek. As played by actor William O. Campbell, better known as Billy Campbell these days, OKONA seems cut from the same cloth as Star Wars' intrepid space smuggler. But it's another well-loved space traveler that Campbell almost saw along his character credits. It's not for a thumbs down. If not for a thumbs down from one high-ranking Paramount executive, he would have been cast as Commander William T. Riker. That is true.
Wow.
That is absolutely true. Executive John Pike, the same man. Oh, she's going to talk about this. I talk about this in my notes. The same man who told the producers to go with Patrick Stewart sans wig as the captain, shot down Campbell's big break. He didn't feel Billy had a sense of command, recalls Rick Berman. He said he wouldn't follow him into battle. Perhaps it's just as well that Campbell didn't win the role. I'll give more information about that later, folks. That wasn't very comprehensive. In the 25 years since The Next Generation hit the airwaves, He appeared in regular or recurring roles in 9 television series and a number of motion pictures, including fan favorite The Rocketeer. Clobby.
Yeah, I
And yet,
love him. Love it.
yes, yeah, the for folks listening at home, Clobby is a massive fan of The Rocketeer. And yet, he's a man who passionately loves his free time. When Campbell was offered a role on the 4400, ooh, I like the 4400, a sci-fi television series that ran for 4 seasons, he told producers, "I'll do your TV series, but I'm sailing around the world for a year." The
Wow,
producers, including
nice.
Ira Stephen Bear, writer and producer on TNG's 3rd season, were convinced that Campbell was right for the role and cast him anyways. Then they accommodated his adventurous spirit by assassinating his character in the middle of the show's 2nd season and resurrecting him a year later when the actor returned to dry land
Wow.
after having sailed into 25 ports of call. This guy's so cool. Well, TNG producers were taken with Campbell's performance as OKONA. Paramount Television publicity department had eyes only for then popular comedian Joe Piscopo. Well, that's a little controversial to say that, which is why the department's still photographer for the episode focused not on the main storyline, but on Piscopo's appearance in the B story as the comic, a holodeck character who unsuccessfully attempts to teach Data how to be funny. And that is all the block text has to say about the outrageous OKONA. What did you think of the episode, and what did you think of the coverage, boss?
Outrageous. That's a quote from Batman Brave and the Bold, by the way. I did not. Maybe if I've heard it before, I've certainly forgotten it anyway. The thing about him being up for the Riker role.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, and perhaps it does have a lot to do with The Rocketeer, which is one of my favorite films. I love Billy Campbell, and this episode is kind of no great shakes or anything, but I don't think it's really bad either. I mean, some of the kind of stuff with Data and Guinan, I mean, it's cute enough. I don't really get into it. It was character stuff for Data. There's really no meat to the story here, but I like the character of OKONA. It was just really an attempt. I mean, they say Han Solo was an attempt to try to give this show sort of a Harry Mudd, and I think he is very enjoyable in the episode. I would like to. I think they should have brought him back once or twice, but as far as the episode, it's relatively forgettable. And then I don't think it's nothing offensive or bad. I really don't think it's just not really much of a story. There's no real science fiction story to be had. There's no deep threat, but it's kind of fine to do an episode once in a while. It's just character stuff. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It just doesn't really grab you that much, other than some could say that stuff with Data is necessary for his character going forward. You're spending the time to do a hello there, Zathras, by the way. Good to see you, Zathras.
Hey, Zathras is here. I can't see that on my side. My stupid StreamYard. Ugh. Welcome, sir.
Good to see you, Zathras. So again, it's a harmless, innocuous episode, I kind of think, but I kind of enjoyed Billy though. Darius Munchausen.
Hey, Darius, I can see Darius. Good evening, sir.
Well, Zathras popped in a little bit earlier.
Okay.
And I don't have anything really bad to say about it or anything like that. I just don't think it's nothing like world beating or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was mildly amusing that he was running around with all those ladies. Something that wouldn't go over too well today, I guess. Him being the rogue and running around with all those different ladies and stuff like that, I guess. Very Han Solo, very Kirk-like. I know they were going for more of a kind of a Harry Mudd type thing, a charming rogue type deal and stuff. And actually kind of interesting that the 24th century still does have, people like that. They're not, he's an exceptional kind of a person, but he's just not the kind that really fits into like a group like Starfleet or anything like that. But he's still a good enough person, nice enough guy, just trying to get by and likes his freedom and all that stuff. Wesley, of course, damages the episode because, even though some of the stuff between him and Wesley's fine, he's trying to be nice to him and everything like that. It's just sort of there. It's kind of, there's some enjoyable character stuff, but I don't really have a lot of things bad to say about the episode or anything like that. It's, bouncing off the walls, wonderful or anything. So,
yeah.
Notes?
Well, for me, I guess I just want to say one thing before I begin my notes. I always sort of felt like this was a jab back. And I don't know what the relationship between Les Mention and Lance Dickinson and David Landsberg were with Gene Roddenberry in 1988. But this definitely feels like a jab back. So when I look at William O. Campbell, I'm pretty happy. And folks will find out as I read my notes.
Go for it.
Okay, so Billy Campbell was a candidate for the role of the Decker Unit. I always call the sucky episodes the Decker Unit. Of course, I'm referring to Riker. And we need to make sure that we are not confusing this William O. Campbell with TOS's William Campbell, which, of course, would be Squire of Gothos, Trelane, and Captain Koloth in The Trouble with Tribbles. And I think this is why William O. Campbell just dropped his middle initial and went with Billy. Anyway, yeah. So Billy was Gene Roddenberry's pick. He wanted Billy as Riker. Ooh. And I would like you all to recall that Gene did not want Patty Stew or Johnny Fakes. Both men have been very vocal in complaining about the multiple auditions that never met with Gene Roddenberry's approval. So it's very important that everyone know that both of them auditioned multiple times. And each time Roddenberry said, no, that's not the right guy. And people should know that he rejected Patrick because he looked too old and wasn't French and was only a handful of years younger than William Shatner. So remember, Gene Roddenberry is being told behind the scenes that, phase 2, maybe everyone's a little too old. We should get some young blood in. And then they march in a bald guy who's British. And he doesn't look anything like this Picard that Gene Roddenberry has written, who is somebody who is has dark hair, dark eyes. He has a French accent. He's very sexy. He's very cultured. He's young. He's virile, and in walks this frail balding man who's French, or I'm sorry, who's British, and is just winds up ruining the character. So everyone should know that the production team actually overruled Gene and forced the hire of both Patty Stew and Johnny Fakes. So when you see Johnny Fakes talking at the cons and his public appearances and in his interviews that he gives about how he always felt like, Gene Roddenberry didn't approve of him. He had to audition multiple times. It's because this cute guy that you're seeing, Billy Campbell, was Gene's choice. And he would have been my choice for Riker here too. Granted, he would not have behaved like OKONA. He would have behaved like Riker, but I see him as much better than Johnny Fakes for the William T. Riker role.
Oh yeah, he's a way better actor.
Yeah, so it's just everyone already knows I'm always sticking up for Gene Roddenberry, and I always take stupid fan factoids and I crush them up and I throw them in the garbage where they belong, and I let people know the truth. So that is the truth. The production team forced and overruled Gene. And this is one of his marvelous picks. And that is why I have always speculated, and it is pure speculation, that mentioned Dickens and, or Dixon, I'm sorry, and Landsberg may have taken the writer's strike to take this jab back. I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but I love to see Gene Roddenberry's pick on screen in Gene Roddenberry's IP. So the great bird of the galaxy, Gene Roddenberry, I love you, and I'm here speaking your truth for you, baby. In my notes, I have Terry Hatcher. Folks should know that Terry Hatcher was severely cut from this episode.
Really?
So in the original, in the original filming, her character was fleshed out, and well, I guess that wasn't a very good turn of the phrase considering what she does. But she was far more than an uncredited transporter chief originally. And then they just hacked and burnt all of it, and we wound up with just two little snippets from her. Mm-hmm. It is reported that Jerry Lewis was preferred for the role of the comedic instructor for Data. So that has been floating around, but you have to understand that clouds float, not facts. So that is a cloud. It's ephemeral or ethereal. You can't. It's gossamer. You can't really grab it, but you should know that rumor exists. Jerry Lewis was preferred for the comedic instructor on the hologram or on the holodeck for Data. And then I put in my notes, I feel bad for Whoopi. How did she endure this comedy from Piscopo? And then I put in my notes, Picard's accent takes over and he calls Data Dater, like English people call Emma Emmer. And so that's it. And that's all my notes, Captain. That's it.
Yeah, look, I liked Joe Piscopo on Saturday Night Live, and he was funny as a comedic actor. But first of all, you're supposed to believe that the 24th century has determined that this is, quote, the greatest comedian of all time. Wow, he was. You think Data's at least Data has an excuse for not being funny?
Yeah.
Damn, Joe.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, he was not freaking funny. And, some of the stuff, and actually Spiner showed a lot of good comedic chops right there. He's always been actually good at comedy. He's very funny in this, funnier than Piscopo. And I'm not knocking Piscopo. He was good on Saturday Night Live. He did a lot of good stuff on there. But as a comedic actor, like in comedic roles and stuff, when they would have him playing different things, when Saturday Night Live was still kind of funny, long time ago. However, and it's fine if he's the comedian guy, but I mean, it's just, wow, really? That guy's he's teaching anybody about humor? He's damn not funny. Yeah. But I love Billy Campbell, not just because of well, maybe a lot because of the Rocketeer, but he exudes charisma. He would have been great as, I think it would have worked if you had something of an older captain, and he seems like at least he looks a little younger than Frakes. I don't know if they were the same age or close to it or whatever, but he would have, he exudes charisma, and he would have been really great as the first officer.
He would have.
Or even the Starship Captain, if you went with a show, if it had been a show about a younger captain, he would have been great at that. I mean, he'd been like a lot like a Shatner type.
Yep. Damned, Gene Roddenberry was good at picking actors.
Yeah, he was, and again, we got, look, everyone who still loves the show and all that stuff, it's fine, it's still good and all that stuff, but I think Billy Campbell, that's a shame that he did not get that role. And
Mark D with the sorry for 1 second. Mark D with the C said, "Did anyone catch that Piscopo's name on the computer was Ronald D. Moore?" Mark D with the C, that's actually a running joke. If you look on the computer panels in all of the episodes, they usually name the production staff and the actors. So cast and crew normally end up on those screens when they have names. That's actually a running joke that you've noticed. It's a running thing that they do.
So Moore was there that early then?
Ronald D. Moore, I think he comes in a little bit later, but this is on the heels of a writer's strike, so I don't know how that would affect Ronald D. Moore. I don't think he would be allowed to just come in and start writing. So I would need to check the dates, but stuff's on pause.
No, I just didn't know that he was working on the show at that time. I didn't know. Okay, so
I don't think he was officially working on the show. Like, remember when I was saying that there were people, there were authors who were loyal to the show, who were even quote unquote calling in ideas for dialogue because they didn't want to quote unquote cross the picket line. But I just wanted Mark D with a C to know that whenever you see the cast and crew and production names on there, that's a running thing with TNG. Those names are always on screen, so look for them, and you'll definitely see cast and crew named therein.
Well, there you go. What is number one? What is your rating of the outrageous OKONA?
Okay, so like you, I absolutely love Billy Campbell. He would have made a much better William T. Riker, and he's definitely not a faker. He's not a Johnny Fakes. So for this episode, I give Billy Campbell and Gene Roddenberry an A plus 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 to infinity and beyond, and I give the episode a C minus.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I go with a C on this one as well. I mean, I'm right there down there with you. The only reason it gets that high is because it's nothing really terrible, and something that could have been a lot. Well, you know, some of the stuff with the comedian is kind of cringy, but although I still think I think Spiner's really good. I mean, look, some of the stuff, actually, the interaction between Spiner and Whoopi Goldberg, you know, the stuff between Data and Guinan is actually better than the stuff with the holodeck. JT Kirk, hey there, good to see you.
Hey, so, JT Kirk, welcome. And Darius Munchausen, you're on fire too, baby.
Indeed. Well, you know, but Campbell is always fun to watch while he's in the episode, and so he elevates it to at least an enjoyable time. And so yeah, that's why I give it a C. So chat, go for it. Your rating and any comments you may have about the outrageous OKONA.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it's just, I understand that. JT Kirk, we hear you. We're just glad to see you, my friend.
Yeah, we're just glad that you're here. Don't worry about being late. We're just happy to see you.
You're here, so you ain't late, buddy.
Yeah, like Jill just said, family stuff is always first. It's very important. So good stuff.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Let's see where. I'm find my beginning here. There we go. Max Redstone says C plus. This main storyline is a ripoff of Harry Mudd. Duh. I was a bit taken with OKONA's cattishness, but the go-between romance is, well, just meh. It's just kind of lampoon.
Yeah, they waste him, don't they? They waste this wonderful choice.
And they should have brought him back, damn it.
Yep.
I say.
Yeah, I'd like to see way more of him. Like I would have liked to have seen way more of Jeremy Hunter or Jeffrey Hunter. I mean, because of his wife. You know what I mean? Like there are some guys in Star Trek that are just hot, and Hunter and Campbell are just they're two of Gene Roddenberry's picks, and I love them.
Well, I'll get to your next one as soon as I can find it there. Oh no, there. I mean, I found it, but okay. I'll have to backtrack. So everyone be patient with me. This one's way down from the other ones. In hindsight, it was a special point in television history to see a pre-Rocketeer Billy Campbell and a post-SNL Joe Piscopo both nearing the peaks of their careers.
Oh, what a wonderful thing to say!
Yes, indeed. And here we go. Here's the third one. We see Data and Guinan suffering through the necessary growing pains for his personal development. Bada boom. Tasha Yar would still pick Data over OKONA. Well, yeah, because he's fully functional. So, let me try to get back where I was. Okay. And they call him Scuba Pete. B minus. Episcopoo. Performance taints it. Otherwise, a lighthearted romp. A plus for Terry Hatcher. Oh God, yeah.
Love you, Scuba.
I love Terry Hatcher, and of course, kind of like that redhead that OKONA was hanging out with too. But that's just me, you know, redheads.
Yeah, but they waste everyone on this episode. Well, you know what I mean? Like Scuba and Clubby and Scuba are raising two really good points here. You know, they waste our wonderful Billy Campbell, and then they waste Terry Hatcher. There's just so much waste here. I mean, this episode had so much potential.
If you shift the Data Piscopo crap to another episode and just deal with something to do with OKONA and maybe flesh out some of that story going on, even though it was pretty lame, that stuff with those two planets was kind of lame. But do something with more with OKONA and the Terry Hatcher character, and but at least there was at least a minimum of what I mean, he's in there, but but so P.S. As in Pat, I'm just kidding. Pat S. C. I'm Ham Salad. Good Hardware Wars reference there, buddy. I loved Hardware Wars. Ace mercenary pilot, intergalactic wise guy. This is my co-pilot Barf. Now, didn't you just cross it over with Spaceballs, dude? Wow, you went from Hardware Wars to Spaceballs. Well done.
John Candy dressed as a dog.
Yeah, he a Mog, half man, half dog. He's his own best friend. Pat S. Saturday night. Mega Dork leave tonight. 8.5. Okay. Well done, sir. Well done. I love Hardware Wars. Snorta Poopus. C+. The episode strikes me as a misfired attempt at light comedy. Troy uses her mystical powers to state the obvious again.
Don't state the obvious. The merely obvious will do.
Yeah, of course. My overall impression is that it's amusing, most thanks to Campbell. Mostly, yeah, thanks Campbell, but fluffy. Fluffy it is. I am with you there, buddy.
Yeah, I wish they would have given them more.
Indeed. Zaswas says B. Good episode for another bad season. Data would learn a lot from Norm Macdonald. I love Norm Macdonald. He's hilarious. Instead of Piscopo. That's right. Norm Macdonald would have been a lot funnier. The OJ jokes would be classic. Well, yeah. Zaswas has spoken.
I finally get that joke.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Zaswas has spoken.
Yeah.
Carol says B. An okay but forgettable episode. Bonus points though for featuring the best Lois Lane ever, Terry Hatcher. Oh. Tough to argue with that one, even though I wasn't big on that show as a Superman fan personally, but Terry. If I had to pick a favorite, I might just go with because she's the cutest.
Do you know that the whole chat is like lighting up with comedians they would have liked to have seen, and their choices are really good. We've got Eddie Murphy, Rodney Dangerfield. Could you imagine Rodney Dangerfield? He would be wonderful, and he's actually funny at that kind of shtick that I don't know much about comedy, but you know that kind of comedy where it's like, what do they call that? One-liners? I'm not sure. But anyway, I love Rodney Dangerfield. And his movies are hysterical. Of course, there's no way you would show them today.
I'll tell you, even in the 21st century, I get no respect.
Yeah, see? I mean, it works here, right? What a great... Oh, that's Snail Messiah. And who else? Who said Eddie Murphy? Max Redstone said Eddie Murphy. You guys are great.
That's a little out of their price range there, but Rodney they could have afforded. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The great Eric KB. It was large on fun. Terry Hatcher, as brief as it was. Billy Campbell, great. Take my wharf, please.
Yes.
Yes, it was. Enigmatic Drop Bear says C-. This came across like a small town story on a galactic size stage. The OKONA character was interesting, and Picard's diplomatic skills to resolve the dispute were okay. And Data's exploration of humor redeemed this episode a little. Yeah. Gotcha. Some character stuff there.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Please excuse me. 1903 TX at 54 minutes past the hour says, yes, they're called one-liners. Yeah, 1903 TX. I never tried to pretend that I know more than I actually do. And although that seems like it's a given, like it's a simple thing to know, I know a lot of like really talented comedians who do it for a living. Like it's not even like a weekend thing. It's like what they do with their life. So I never want to suppose what their jargon is. But yes, thank you for reassuring me that it was called a one-liner.
Yes, one-liners indeed. Indeedishness. Stephen Thompson, Captain James T. Skywalker. A B-, a croissant episode. I had a croissant pizza today. It's a light and flaky snack, but it is not a steak dinner. I would give it a C, but it has Terry Hubba Hatcher. She is spectacular. There's no arguing with that one, brother.
What a great comment.
No arguing with that one, Stephen. Let's see here. I just remembered Star Trek TNG and Deep Space Nine were broadcast at 7 p.m. on Saturday nights locally Seattle. Now I have Saturday night Star Trek. Live is good. Oh, well, thank you. We're glad to help with that. We appreciate you, too. So there you go.
Clubby,
Yes,
at
yes, yes.
55 minutes past the hour. You don't have to put it up, but I have to read this because if this goes by,
Go for it.
I will kick myself for letting this comment go by. So everyone loves this idea of Rodney Dangerfield, and Max Redstone just put up this awesome comment. My therapist asked me if I talk to my wife while I'm making love. I said, sure, if I have my communicator on me. Like, this stuff is so good. Everyone can even see Rodney Dangerfield in the role. Max Redstone, that is just comedy gold, awesome, beautiful, cool stuff. I love you, Max. Anyway, sorry, Chloe, go ahead.
Yeah, my wife left me for a Klingon. She had a bigger bat lift. Sorry.
See, this stuff writes itself. This chat is the best.
Alaric Harrison, C+. Good episode, but a bit average. The story was a little on the light side, but is still good Trek entertainment. Fair enough. Yes,
Yeah.
Steve. Canadian Spidey says, I give this a C+ since it has Terry Hatcher and Billy, both of whom I adore immensely. This reminded me strongly of the Harry Mudd episodes, and so it scores higher than it probably should. Yeah, I mean, because he's just he's fun in the episode. You know, you don't get to see enough Terry. Obviously, you can never see enough of Terry Hatcher. But the guy just, I mean, it's funny. I'd seen this episode and thought the episode back when it first came out, I guess it was okay. Then when he got cast as Rocketeer, I said, that guy was on Star Trek. Oh, I remember him. Wow, that's the OKONA or whatever. Yeah, and so I was like, wow. And again, I'm looking at the guy. He looks just like Cliff Secord, the character. I mean, you could not cast him better right out of the comic book. And he was terrific, as that. He's a guy that you want to cast him as multiple different superheroes.
Yeah.
And of course, Rocketeer technically is not quite a superhero, but he's a pulp hero. But you could see him cast as other characters too, as far as heroic types. But you could definitely see him as either Riker or his own captain of his own ship in the Trek.
Well, it makes it more believable. He's very charismatic. And Captain, I should tell you that Mr. Angel, our chef, he just walked through the door.
Oh!
So let's welcome Mr. Angel, our
Mr.
resident
Angel.
chef.
Hey. It is good to see you, my friend. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate you being here. Let's see here. We already got that one. Let's see if we have any more. I know we have some more coming up. Gotta have some. Oh, take it away. Number one, we have the wonderful anti-derivative Jill.
Jill, baby. Okay, so she's got 4. So we're gonna do 1 of 4. But she starts off.
This one, not.
Yeah, she starts off with a D+.
Wow.
This is pretty low for Jill. Jill
Yes,
has the same personality as Mark D with a C. She's always trying to give episodes the benefit of the doubt. So she starts off here with a D+, and this is 1 of 4. Guinan and Data talking about jokes is wonderful, but the comic from the holodeck is definitely not my kind of humor. The one joking about quantum physics probably would have been better. Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
2 of 4. I like the description of the Klingon glob fly because it is a good description for this episode. It is like an earth mosquito with no sting and a buzzing sound. Oh, Joe! 3 of 4. He's cute, but oops, sorry.
Oops.
Sorry about that. That's the dog's medicine time, but it's okay. Andrew will handle it.
Okay, cool.
3 of 4. He's cute, but I don't prefer guys who only care about the carnal. But the transporter officer disagrees with me, and that's okay. And at least that trait doesn't pertain to the resulting plot. 4 of 4. The end reveal is basically Romeo and Juliet, except this time the intermediary of the Enterprise and OKONA allow for a peaceful resolution. I'm grateful Picard put an end to this soap opera.
Well done, Jill.
Jill, knocking it out of the park tonight, baby.
Indeed, Jill. Indeed. J.T. Kirk, B-. This is probably the most rerun episode in my area on TV. Really? Perhaps the residuals are low and the ratings were high enough. I don't know. The ratings are high enough. It's a basic tale and nothing more. This guy has super spurpies. He does.
JT Kirk
Well,
also says another Rodney Dangerfield joke in defense of the Rodney Dangerfield being the comic. JT Kirk says, "When I was a kid, my parents transported a lot, but I always found them."
Well done, sir.
So good. I love it.
Wolfie says C+. Our comedic teacher is wrong. It was a metric ton of people, poopy diapers, excuse me, that brought the house down at Tenazek. Now, is that T? T-neck. I'm sorry. My eyes. Best parts for me are the guide and data moments. My memory is digital. Oh, yeah, that was funny. When she said, yeah, she said, Data, that's funny. Is it? Yeah, that was. Fabioke 100. C+. This was a filler episode, so and so story with male and female eye candy put in there, but what a female. Yeah.
Fabioke.
I love Terry Hatcher, but let's not completely dispel that lovely redhead too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I loved her. She was, but Worf had to go ruin it for like, wait a C block, Worf. Jesus, man.
It's just the thing is Terry Hatcher is a decent actress, and obviously Billy Campbell is wonderful. He was Gene's pick, and he winds up being the Rocketeer. So we had all the raw material here to make something really special, and instead,
that's true, Jill. By the way, Eddie Murphy is a huge Star Trek fan, and I guess he could clean it up for the TV because it would be funny him saying M or F or so on the holodeck. That would be kind of funny. Oh shit. Let's see here. He definitely is a Trek fan. That's right. So we got. I know we're not. Oh, here we go. I was wondering where he was. There he is, right there. Oh, Brendan Haley. Hello there.
Hi.
Welcome. It is good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Okay, we're ready now for, of course, the great Marco G with a C. Except that. Oh, let me get your first one there. Sorry, buddy. Let's see here. B. Fun episode that works for me, thanks to the acting of Campbell and Spiner. Data trying to be funny is hysterical, and it's a character-driven episode that I liked.
Okay.
Despite the lack of sci-fi story, the attempt at a Shakespearean drama had some good character moments. Would raise the grade to see those cut, fleshed out Hatcher scenes and add Andrew Dice Clay. Oh, wow, man.
My goodness.
He was quite controversial at the time. In that case, I'm going to raise you one. I would rather have seen Sam Kinison on Star Trek. Oh, my God. And, hey, he was in the movie with Rodney Dangerfield, by the way. Sam, I miss you.
Max says, the computer kept asking me if I wanted to activate the self-destruct. I said, no, thanks. I've been married already. Look, I'm no comedian. I'm not good at delivering this stuff. I'm an author. I'm not a comedian, but and a scholar. You know what I mean? I don't write jokes.
Indeed.
But the Rodney Dangerfield thing is super funny.
Yep. I think we got all of our reviews. Let me make sure. Let me see if we can catch up. Well, Mr. Angel, I hope that. Hey-o. Jake, I'm sorry. Mr. Angel, I hope whatever it was wasn't too bad and things are okay now. He said that they had an emergency that kept him for a while.
Oh, wow.
In that case, I definitely do. No. So I hope.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got everybody, didn't we? Yeah. Pretty sure we got them all. Bop. Let's go. Okay. All right. I think we got them all there. So all the reviews. I think everyone, and let speak up if we didn't get you.
Yeah, let us know.
All right. Well, it looks like we have got our 4 episodes reviewed. Number one. Yes, indeedishness. All right. Well, folks. So not too terrible of a week, I guess. You know, I mean, some crap, but some entertaining stuff, some good stuff, and then like what was it? A couple weeks back when it was all bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Enigmatic Drop Bear. Okay. Let's see. Thanks for talking about the Rock. I'm going to watch. Oh, Rocketeer. I think it's on. I don't know if you have Disney Plus or whatever. Oh, you have the DVD, but never. Oh, really? From 1991. Rocketeer is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's based on a comic book from 1982 by the late great Dave Stevens. It's based on kind of a pulp adventure and stuff. It's very faithful. It really, if you look at the short span of time it took to make, get to film, that's pretty quickly for a comic book character. But it was, unfortunately, it got caught in the summer, the summer of Terminator and all these other films, and didn't do as well, so we didn't get any sequels. But it's one of my favorite films. I really, really enjoyed it. It's just a wonderful throwback type of a film. And I think, I hope, Enigmatic Drop Bear, if you watch it, I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, let us know what you thought about it next time. So, yeah. And Billy Campbell's terrific, and Alan Arkin terrific. Great cast, fun movie. And what a great soundtrack by the late great James Horner.
I haven't seen it yet either. I need to go do that because Clobby has wonderful taste. Like, his taste is so good. Even like, how we all have like that soft spot for like bad science fiction, like the B-rated movies. Even there, he has just such great taste. I've enjoyed every single thing that he's ever recommended to me. The stuff that is like world-changingly excellent, and just other science fiction that I've overlooked. So yeah, if Clobby says The Rocketeer is good and is like a fan of it, you can be guaranteed that it is excellent.
Well, I don't know if that's your cup of tea or not, but I think you would enjoy it if you saw it. It's very entertaining, and not only is Billy really good in it, of course, Timothy Dalton's brilliant as the baddie in this thing, and I love Timothy. I'm a big Timothy Dalton fan as well. So great cast, and just a fun throwback. Sort of like in the sense that Raiders of the Lost Ark or something like that is a throwback to that type of old science movie. Takes place in the 30s, of course, or 1937 or 8, whatever it was. So a lot of fun. Anyway, well, we've gotten through another 4 episodes, folks. We will have 4 more next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. In the meantime, as we talked about at the top of the show, before we say our goodbyes and everything, September the 8th, which, of course, another Star Trek landmark. Just as this past Thursday, we celebrated on the Global Geek Gang the what would have been the 100th birthday of the great Gene Roddenberry, the great bird of the galaxy. We will celebrate on September the 8th. Like I do every September the 8th, I try to do something. It just so happens it falls on my wild card Wednesday night when I do my show. And on September the 8th, we will celebrate my first officer and I by counting down our top 25 all-time favorite episodes of Star Trek, the original series. And I can't wait, number one. I'm looking forward to that.
It is going to be such a great time. I enjoy your company immensely. You are my Star Trek soulmate, and I think it's going to be just such a cool show. I think we're going to have a great time, and I hope a lot of people will show up and share their favorites as well, and maybe challenge our lists. Maybe say, hey, why didn't that make the list, right? So yeah, I think it's a wonderful idea. I love doing this stuff with you, and what a way to celebrate 55. I can't drive 55. Let's do it.
Indeed. The great Derek K with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. And the Raquel, not always Clobby, thought Ishtar was a comedy classic. Well, since I never sat through all of it, because I guess I have to defer that it was. I did. Let's see here. And thank you for the $2 super chat there. Clobby loves Battlefield Earth. I do. Never watched that either.
Eric, you are so funny.
I never watched that either, but I did buy the book. Back in the 80s, I never read it, of course. It's like over 1,000 pages of drivel.
I'm crying, laughing. Max Redstone just put in the chat, slander.
That is pretty bad.
People are coming to your defense, Claude.
Thank you.
These comments are just great. I just love it.
Defend me against the machinations of the evil Eric K.
Yeah, and Zathras has asked how far along I am in B5. I'm actually at the point where I have to stop and watch the film. So I'm just right before season 4. So if I watch in
Third
Like,
space, or is it now? Which one are you at now?
I don't know. I'm new to
I'll
B5,
check.
remember?
I'll check.
So I don't have it all memorized. I'm not like a super fan of it. Well, I am now, but I'm Canadian, so
Gotcha. I'll
you
check.
know,
I'll check for you.
super
That's cool.
expensive for us. For those at home
Right.
wondering why B5, why I don't know anything about it is it's very difficult to get in the area where I'm at, and it is extremely expensive to purchase. The physical media for B5 is outrageous, like just beyond the ability to even pay for it. I would rather go on a trip to Mexico. Do you know what I mean? Like it's that expensive for
Sure.
Canadians. So I'm new to B5. Zathras and Klobby and a bunch of people recommended that I watch B5. So I have been watching B5 and I absolutely love it. It's way different than Star Trek. It's been compared to DS9, but I wouldn't compare it to DS9. I think it's something totally different. And I just love it. I think Harlan Ellison has done a wonderful job. Advising this show and helping to make some wonderful science fiction decisions. And I really, really like this show. I think it's wonderful.
I love it. I love it. And it's truly a great show. And yes, I hope, the reason why it gets compared to Deep Space Nine is because of all those people talking about how all the talk of it, JMS shopping it to Paramount first, and people, obviously it came around at the same time. You got space station and the space station, and science fiction set in the future, and the comparisons are going to happen. I mean, they're unavoidable. And I love both shows now. Of course, it's tough for me to pick a favorite, and the reason why I can't really go into why it's tough for me to pick a favorite is because you haven't seen it all yet. Once you've seen all of B5, because I know you've seen all of DS9, I can kind of explain.
Yes,
but I can't really do it yet.
Yeah, so. You feel paralyzed because you don't want to spoil the show for me.
Right.
And Zathras has also bit his tongue and not said a single word, just waiting for me to finish. So yeah, I'm right at the point where I have to watch the movie. Like I have the watch order that is conducive to fully understanding the way things happen and conducive to maximum enjoyment. And this is the prevailing opinion. So I've been following that order and I'm pretty excited about it. So about to drop off of season 3 and jump into the movie so that I can then watch season 4.
Yep. Well, there you go. I'm not sure which one, River of Souls maybe, or something like that. But there are a few films. That's the thing. It's so convoluted with that order and all that stuff because of the movies, but at least fans sussed it out. Another super chat from the great Derek K. Hey, buddy. Bobby never turns on his webcam because he does not want us to see his Wesley sign. That's true. He has a life-size Wesley signed by Will Wheaton. That is true. I don't know why you have to tell all my secrets, dude. What did I ever do to you?
Oh my God, Eric!
You can't keep the secret around here. Jesus. Man, you gonna tell him about all my almost let it slip for a second. I'm not. Never mind. Thank you, Eric K, for that, buddy. Appreciate you, buddy.
You made me snarf my beer. Yeah.
Snarf.
So good.
Well, number one, before we start saying our long goodbye as we do, please tell us, of course, about your extraordinary works, because you are an extraordinary author, and tell everybody about that a little bit. Then we'll say our goodbyes and let everybody go.
Oh, thank you so much for helping me as an author. So I write science fiction short stories. It's a prose form or a fiction form that I really love a lot. I love short story fiction forms. I also really love flash fiction. So if you like Philip K. Dick and Edgar Allan Poe and the old Outer Limits and the old Twilight Zone, you might like my short stories and my flash fiction. And you can find it at Amazon under RM Briggs. You can also find it on your Kindle device. And I just want to say that I want to thank every single person who has helped support my work. It's everything that I have for sale is under $1. I think it's only 74 cents for Americans. And basically, it's not about the money. It's about drumming up interest and getting as many positive reviews on there as possible, because I would like to publish a short story collection, and I'm going to be adding more stories, and hopefully I'll be able to put something together. And one day I hope to have a physical copy that I can autograph and send to all of you. So many of you have been getting in there and reading it and leaving really nice comments. I love you guys. Thank you so much for that.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Please, everyone, go seek that out there. The links. Thank you for that, Eric, as well, brother, for the link in there as well. Attention, Babylon 5 complete series. Oh, let's see here. Cavatinho. Attention, Babylon 5 complete series 1 through 5 movie collection. Third in this set on eBay for, wow, and that's a pretty good price considered. Now that they've got the remasters done and they're really cool, I'm wondering if they're going to. Now, Stephen Thompson says Klobby also has a 4K Ultra box set of My Mother the Car. I wish, dude.
You guys are crazy. Yeah, Cavantino Cavalryman Che. That seems like a very low price. The problem is that on our side of the border, once you try to actually make that purchase, it works out quite differently. So we not only do we have the changing of the American to Canadian dollar, but we also have to pay import fees and shipping fees, and usually it goes up significantly. So I think on one show on the Global Geek Gang, we actually looked it up on the Canadian side of the border, and it was ridiculously expensive. Over $400, I'm fairly certain, and there were some that were up for $900 for the prisoner. The prisoner went up to $1,250. So. Yeah, it's not so easy to get that cherished classic physical media that is just on the other side of the border.
Right.
It's better to go to ClobbyCon and buy Clobby supper and then go shopping in Louisiana and then just come back to Canada with it, which is what I plan on doing.
If you order it, you can have it sent to me and I'll have it for you, something like that.
Yeah.
But, well, everyone, it was fantastic to see you here tonight. And what we're going to do now is say our goodbyes. And even if you're already gone, you're going to get the shout out because we appreciate everyone being here with us tonight. Of course, I believe he probably had to run, but the great J-Man was here tonight. Had a fantastic time hanging out with J-Man this past Wednesday night. Oh, I should say that past Monday night, John Cimino hanging out with him was great too. The agent to the great Roy Thomas, the comics legend, and stuff. Had a fantastic time talking with John as well. My old buddy, and then we're going to do that again soon. The Felicianos, Esmond Raymond, and Sandra had to run.
Yeah.
Great, happy anniversary.
Again.
Absolutely. Fabioki 100, and thank you for being here. It's good to see you, and we appreciate you. We thank you for hanging out with us tonight. The great D. Bud Martin, the man of iron, buddy. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, D-Bud, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Lord
Dolph brother had to run, but all hail great LT.
LT and his wife.
Dad Man Walking, Dad Man of the Dad Clan. Say hello to the lovely Dad Man, Mrs. Dad Man for us.
Dad Man Clan, that is going to stick. It's such a great name. I absolutely love it. To the Dad Man Clan. Mwah, mwah.
Rod Thunderheart for $2. Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate you, buddy. You're too kind, my friend. Thank you, everyone, and I'll pass this on to my brother. Pass it on. Good luck to your brother, and please feel Rod's brother. Please get better, sir. Get better, and also Bruce Lombardo, get better. Good luck, sir. I know he's not here with us tonight, but he's a friend. He's a friend, and he's popped in many times. So I hope he gets better. Let's see here. Stephen Thompson, thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate you.
Yes, Stephen Thompson, thank you so much for your company and your comments.
The wonderful anti-derivative Jill. Love you, Jill. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for being here, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Indeed, indeed. And they call him Scuba Pete. Scuba. Thank you, buddy.
Scuba Pete!
Of course, he is the great, legendary Eric K. Eric, brother.
Eric.
Dude, always appreciate you, buddy. Thanks, man. The Bronze Surfer. Thanks for being here, buddy. Thanks for the super chats. Appreciate you, man. I'm not sure if he had to run yet or not, but the great Canadian Spider-Man who does whatever the Canadian Spider can.
I'm so excited about meeting you at CLOBBERIN, and thank you so much for showing up tonight and supporting the channel and supporting this show and just being such a great friend to us. Thanks, Steve.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Oh, there's another one there. Enigmatic Drop Bear for $7.99. Thank you so much. Your contributions were impressive and extraordinary and enigmatic. And they were absolutely terrific. We really appreciate you. We hope you will return. Thank you for welcoming into your community. This is great fun. Well, you are very welcome. We love Trek here. We just celebrate it. We love celebrating it with friends, and we love it when a new person hangs out with us. You are very welcome here. Yes. And thank you so much for your input. And we hope to see you. We're here at 9 p.m. Central. I don't know what that time is for you, but 9 p.m. Central every Saturday night. And we're gonna do it all, no matter how long it takes. We're gonna review all of Real Deal Star Trek 66 through 05. So thank you, Enigmatic Drop Bear. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, and don't forget to mark your calendar for September 8th too, because these top 25s and stuff that Clobby does with all these different IPs, they're always so much fun. He always has such great comments. So I'm looking forward to you being there for that as well. But I just wanted to echo and amplify what Clobby said. Your comments tonight were absolutely outstanding. What great company you are. And yes, we would love to warmly welcome you into our community. And thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for the excellent comments and for that really, really nice super chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Max Redstone, my friend, thank you so much for everything. We also appreciate your participation, and have a great night, sir. Thank you so much, Max.
You were sensational tonight. You were just hysterical, just so smart, so funny, so great to be around. Thank you so much, Max.
Pat S. Buddy, always a pleasure, bro. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, Pat, you were funny tonight too. Good job.
I don't know if she's still here, but the beautiful Arvin Avalon, always a pleasure.
Pretty lady.
Kal-El 48, buddy, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming.
To see you. Absolutely. Wolfie 6762, always a pleasure, Wolfie.
Wolfie! Ow, ow, ow! It was so good to see you. Thank you so much for all of your comments tonight, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Fantastic friend of the show, the great Mark D with a C, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yes, Mark D with a C. Such great comments tonight. You are a very dear friend to Clobby and I. So, yeah, good to see you, and thank you so much for being here.
Don't know if she's still with us, hanging, but either way, Janet from another planet. Love you, Janet. Thank you for being here.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, sweet lady. We'll see you next Saturday.
Indeed. The great Just Joe 47 Jobber brother. Appreciate it. And thanks for the super chat, buddy. We appreciate you, man. The great Your Muslim Uncle. Thank you so much, my friend, for being here. The extraordinary Captain is Deckard, a replicant Spock. Thank you for being here, buddy. Indeed. And in conjunction with that, with the Blade Runner reference, Tyrell 72. Tyrell, thank you for being here. Appreciate you.
Good night, Tyrell.
Or is it Tyrell? Either way. 1903 TX. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your company. Good night.
Stuart Mitchell, thank you.
Yes. Good night.
Snail Messiah. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you.
You were great fun tonight. Have a wonderful weekend.
The great Rod Thunderheart, buddy. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for everything.
Hey, Alberta. I'm here, and I'm so sorry for what's going on with your brother. I know your brother listens to this show. He
Oh,
doesn't
yes.
participate in the live chat, but he listens to the podcast. So, if you go and visit him, I really hope that you will play this shout out for him and let him know that there is an entire community of people here who are just sending him love and support for what he's going through. And yeah. Night, Rod. Take care.
Rod Thunderheart's brother, a big clobbering times. Shout out to you. Please get better. And we wish you the best and live long and prosper. I'm doing the sign at you right now. If you're, and I'm assuming you're a Star Trek fan if you're listening. So please get better. Thank you. She had to run, but the wonderful, beautiful Katie Carr was here earlier. Love you, Katie Carr. Yeah. The great Steve Mitchum had to run, but always shout out to the great Steve Mitchum.
Yep.
Snorta Poopas Cuba, buddy.
Snorta Poopas!
Cuba.
The wonderful Polymies Minion.
Yes,
Love
and
you.
the pepperoni.
The pupper, yep, absolutely. Love you, Polymies. Thank you. Cavatino, Cavallerman, Che, thank you as always for popping in. Really appreciate you.
Yeah. Have a good weekend.
The Catman, a.k.a. Dee Dee Myers. Always a pleasure. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you.
Meow.
Indeed, the Neerot, Anaxamanda Bear. Thank you.
Nice to see you, Neerot.
Always great to see you. The podcast, Ian Slater. Sir, thank you. It was an honor to see you here. I've seen you in many places, and we walked some of the same streams over there. And so good to see you, my friend. Thank you for popping in.
Good night.
Alaric Harrison. And always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here.
Good night.
Zathras. It is always good to see Zathras here. Great Zathras.
Hey, look who just walked through the door.
Who's it? Hey, 32 flavors, buddy.
That is a fellow streamer and illustrious member of the global geek gang. Nick Weiser, welcome.
Nick, hey man, I just watched part 2. Oh boy, of Catwoman: The Long Halloween. So let me know when you want to review that thing, buddy. But because we reviewed it on your show, yeah. I'm going to be beating up on that. I mean, I'm reviewing on that with Loki as well, but I'm going to review both parts with Loki. But you and I review part 1, and we're going to just let me know when you want to do it, brother. Darius Munchausen, thank you for being here. Great to see you.
Yes, Darius, so good to see you. Thank you for supporting the channel and the show. Have a good weekend.
Indeedishness. JT Kirk, buddy. Thanks for popping in, man.
Yeah, so good to see you. Thank you for your wonderful comments. We'll see you next week.
Indeedishness. Mr. Angel, always a pleasure to see you pop in. Thank you so much, and hope you're doing well.
Yeah, and whatever craziness happened tonight, I'm so happy. Like I saw a couple of the comments. I'm just so happy you were there and that you kept a cool head and that you were able to help. And yeah, we're sending you our support and definitely have a cup of tea or a glass of wine if that's what you like to do. And definitely go in and rest and have a good sleep and a good weekend. And I'm glad that you got to be a hero to somebody today.
And Brendan Haley, we thank you for being here. And as always, last but not least, the great Nick, again, 32 Flavors, says he is a bit drunk in Dallas, but I love you both. Well, we love you, buddy.
Love
you. Take care. And hey, have fun, man. Let's see. I'll bug you on the twits, and we'll set up something for that Catwoman: The Long Halloween review. So
hey, if you get late night greasy food, can you please film it, even if you don't broadcast it, and just send it to Andy and I, because we love watching your food reviews. So if you get like a donair or something crazy down there, would you please
he can review it drunk.
Yeah, that's what I mean, Clubby. Like, you don't have to put it on air. I know you don't do that sort of thing, but seriously, Nick, Andrew, and I would love it, and I know Clubby would too. Whatever is wild in Texas that you're going to eat tonight, because we all know you're going to eat tonight.
Yes.
If you're thinking about filming it, you have an audience, even a private audience.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Well, I'll tell you what.
Nick.
Love you, Nick. Be careful out there, brother. Appreciate you.
Be safe, please.
I'll be back here Monday night. As everyone knows, this is, of course, on Clobbering Times. We do Trek and we do comics. This is, of course, Jack Kirby month on Clobbering Times. And Monday night will be a Jack Kirby. It'll be a Jack Kirby talk of some kind. I'm not exactly sure what the topic will be, but it'll be, of course, about the King of Comics. This, of course, being his birth month. And shout out to that. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight with us. We just, just love it. Love you all. And you all make Saturday night so special for us. Now, please enjoy this great intro outro because we love it. Of course, created by my magnificent first officer, the wonderful Raquel Briggs, with a little assistance getting in here for the great Mark D with a C. Enjoy. If you have not seen these opening or closing credits yet, this music will stick with you because it's wonderful. It's very Trekish. Have a great night, everyone, and I'll see you here Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and, of course, next Saturday night on Saturday Night Star Trek. Live long and perspire. Later.